Ain't no family no more. Or do you barely for sure? You try to patch up your soul, Lord knows you on a mission to show him you so submissive. The prayer said in silence, you know the devil can hear him. Pay attention. Know the war's within. How much time do you spend? Try to balance your then again, losses is lessons. You tell me you trying to win. We know about saving money. You tell me you trying to spend that blood on it. Sweat, tears, you put that love on it. Your best years was just a dumb moment. You tired of going hungry. Can't deal with fake making your life lonely. Your lack of faith that left your soul boning. But you gon' work and you gon' strive. Do what it takes to survive. What is truth? What is a lie? You know that war's inside. Some get tricked into the fake. They don't know what to decide. Wrong choice, meet your demise. Keep that between you and I. You realize some people you gon' let go. You visualize the things you need to feed your soul is on the rise. They're not gon' wanna let you go, but it's alright. It's cool to bury what's gon' grow. Went from wrong to the right and to the dark to the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all. Oh, yo, my, gotta hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. From wrong to the right and to the dark from the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. You just hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah, I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be stressing on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. Just keep going and keep your faith, so you can win this race. This race called life, yeah, yeah. This race called life. This race called life, yeah, yeah. Race called life. Yeah, yeah.
Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1. The arena is opening once again, and only the strongest minds will survive. After an unforgettable first tournament, Pandemus the African Atheist fought through the battlefield of ideas and walked away with
I apologize, family. Y'all know my laptop be moving slow. Let's get it. What's up, fam? It's your brother Humble Mystic in the building. Y'all know my brother Quantum is on the side of me, always ready to ride. Before we get into it tonight, y'all know how we normally do it. We let the song play, then we play a commercial. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and run this commercial. Then when we come back, y'all know we getting straight into it.
Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1. The arena is opening once again, and only the strongest minds will survive. After an unforgettable first tournament, Pandemus the African Atheist fought through the battlefield of ideas and walked away with $500 in cash. But that was then. This time we're raising the stakes. $1,000, one champion, one title, one chance to prove you're the greatest debater in the league. This isn't social media arguing. This isn't trolling in the comments. This is intellectual warfare, where evidence is your weapon, logic is your shield, and every round is a fight for survival. New challengers are stepping into the arena. Veteran fan favorites are returning. Egos will fall, legends will rise. The question is, do you have what it takes to survive the Coliseum? We still have a few tournament spots available. Think you belong among the Titans? Message TitansDebateLeague@gmail.com and claim your place before the gates close. Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1, where great minds don't just debate, they go to war. Are you not entertained? Coliseum of Arguments. Only the brave speak here.
What up? What up? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Quantum, can you hear me?
Yeah, boy, loud and strong.
All right. All right. Hey, was that commercial skipping for you?
No, it came all the way through good.
All right, because it was skipping for me. I just want to make sure everything on my end working well. What's up once again, family? Thank y'all for coming through. And this one right here gonna be a good one, y'all. Today, I am exposing Oaspe, not just as a worldview, but as a religion. I'm exposing Faithism, the founder of Faithism, the founder of Oaspe. Hey, listen, I'm laying it all out on the ground.
Everybody?
Hey, call everybody. Cosmon, if you watching, don't be scared to come on up here after this presentation, family. Don't be scared, because you know I'm coming straight for the jugular. So let's get into this. Let me turn this into bam, presenter mode.
I'm gonna drop down so I won't be a distraction for everybody. Humble, you go ahead. I'm gonna be in the studio.
Problem. Well, you know I'm gonna pop it up on the screen. I'm gonna make it big anyway. You know, I'm gonna blow it all the way up anyway. All right. Exposing Oaspe for the religious doctrine it is, family. The religion doctrine it is. Let's get into this. First, we're going to address the author of confusion, John Bellew Newborough. His general background is a medical doctor and a dentist. That's all Cosmon wants you to believe this man was a dentist. However, family, that's far from the truth. He got a whole lot of skeletons in his closet. Let's break this down. So as a child, John Newborough was already saying, right, he had psychic powers. He was clairvoyant, right? He was saying he was clairvoyant since childhood, right? Let's get into his spiritual roots, right? He was a trustee for the New York Spiritualist Association. His practice, he was active in trance medium, psychic healer. He performed seances. He participated in seances and actively hosted them in New York City, right? And so even if I just stop there, family, where my Christians at? Where my Orthodox Christians at in the chat? Right? Where my people at that believe in Jesus Christ? Right? Where my Hebrews at? Where my Muslims at? Last time I checked, family, this was witchcraft. Last time I checked, participating in seances, mediumship, talking to the dead, like talking to beings from last time I checked, that was witchcraft. Hey, Cosmon, you walking around following people that perform in witchcraft now? That's what you trying to push on the people? You got some explaining to do, brother. So now, let's get into this, right? Let's look into the religious ventures this man had. Did y'all know that John Bellew Newborough was named after a Universalist pastor? Yeah, his parents named him after their favorite pastor who was preaching universalism. Now, what's universalism? It's a sect of Christianity that believed that salvation is universal. That's what his parents was believing. That's what he grew up under. Later on in his life, you know, he turned to Theosophy, Madame Blavatsky, right? He learned a lot from Madame Blavatsky. We're going to get a little bit into that as we move along. But, hey, listen, he was an admirer of Madame Blavatsky, right? He went into Buddhism. He went into Hinduism. He went into Zoroastrianism. So y'all see, family, this not just no regular dentist who just caught the Holy Spirit and just decided to write a book. No, that's not how this happened. This was a man who came up in 19th century, the Victorian period of 19th century spirituality, where it was a competitive field. Everybody wanted their quote unquote spiritual system to outdo the old time religions. John Ballou Newborough had the idea to unify all major religions under one umbrella. Don't that sound like New World Order talk to y'all? and it become apparent as we get along because, of course, your man John Ballou Newborough was a 33rd degree Mason. Scottish Rite. Are you telling us to follow the teachings of Masons now? Theosophy? We got to get that out of here, man. Big shout out to my brother Oaspe, man. Amazing presentation on the occult and Western esotericism. Amazing presentation. Hey, but this brother right here need to be up in there because he all up in the mix with Madame Blavatsky and the rest of them. All up in there. Let's get into it. So, family, a while ago, Cosmon did a presentation and he tried to make like naturalism with some type of religious worldview. When I came back, I had to correct that notion. But now let your brother Humble stand before you and tell you the truth. Faithism is a religious worldview. I'm not making this up. Go check for yourself. Go do your research. Y'all always hear Cosmon talking about Oaspe. You never hear him talk about Faithism. Why? Why is that? Because that's his religion. What is the worldview of Faithism? Well, Faithists believe in Jehovah as the formless, all-encompassing, and only true creator of the universe. Hey, the Hebrews got one of those. They call him Yahweh. You feel me? The Muslims got one of those. They call him Allah. How dare you, Cosmon, come and try to challenge how dare you come to the pedestal and try to take the stance that Oaspe is not a religion? You should be embarrassed of yourself, bro. You should just call it what it is, bro. You're a religious person. It's okay. What else makes Faithism a religion? The adherents of Faithism enter a sacred covenant directly with Jehovah. Did you enter that covenant, Cosmon? Why Cosmon ain't out here telling y'all that to be a part of this, you got to enter the covenant of Jehovah. You got to enter a direct covenant with Jehovah. He ain't telling y'all that, though. Y'all, what did that sound like, family? Quantum was up here yesterday smashing the Bible to pieces, and one of the things he talked about was the covenantal law. Wait, Oaspe got a covenant? What? But Oaspe ain't religious, though, huh? What type of flim-flam trickery you try and pull on us, Cosmon? Hey, we exposing Houdini today. I'm just letting y'all know. Right? Reunification of idols. The core of the covenant Not only do they make a covenant with Jehovah, the core of the covenant they make with Jehovah, right, is a solemn oath to explicitly ignore and reject all other heavenly rulers, including those worshipped as gods, lords, or saviors. So not only do they believe in Jehovah, not only do they make a covenant with Jehovah, but in that covenant do they make with Jehovah tell them that you have to explicitly worship me and no other God. Now, mind you, he didn't reject that other gods exist. He just said you can't worship other gods, which means he acknowledged other gods exist. Wait a minute. Whoa. Let's go back up to what Faithists believe. Faithists believe in Jehovah as the formless, all-encompassing, and only true and the only true creator of the universe. So where all these other gods come from? The contradiction is right there. I ain't even get 2% through to my presentation, and I just cut his head off right there. My bad, y'all. Direct recognition. Faithists solely recognize and honor the one ever-present Jehovah. They call Jehovah ever-present, without any intermediaries or lesser deities. Where my Muslims at? This sound like Allah to me. Let's get into it, family. The method. Remember, I was doing my breakdown. I told y'all Cosmon don't know the difference between a worldview and a method. So now let me teach him about his worldview and his method. Come on, Humble, you better teach. Let's get into it, family. Oaspe Bible, the method. The Oaspe Bible, the instrumental method, right? The technical method, channeled authority, automatic writing, claimed 1,000-page text channeled via trance, bypassing human authorship. But I'm going to show y'all something later, though, family. Mind y'all, it say bypassing human authorship, but I'm going to show y'all something later, right? Of course, we know it was made on a typewriter, right? But let's get into the methods that the Oaspe Bible mimic. Let's get into that, right? That it's the archaic phrasing. It mimics King James Bible style, thou, thy, and demand reverence. Let me read that again. The archaic phrasing. It mimics King James Bible style, thou, thy, to demand reverence. Hey, listen, y'all heard brother Only up here reading that Bible the other day. He was saying all kind of thous, thys, oohs, e's. Yeah, y'all gonna see that a little later in this Oaspe Bible. It used the same verbiage. It uses religious language, family. Come on, now. Hey. It may not be nothing left to Cosmon by the time I'm done, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. How dare you, Cosmon, come up here and say Oaspe ain't a religion, but then when you look in the text, the very text uses religious language. Specialized vocabulary, private words, corporeal, ethereal, and names Jehovah for the holy register. The dude got John Bailey Newborough made up his own lexicon, fam. We're going to go over that. Encyclopedic method, organizing the cosmos, molecular architecture, right? So, The book literally say the earth have a 3,000 year cycle. That's another religious thing. Come on, fam. Come on, family. But this ain't religion. So you just want to take the whole 3,000 year cycle, and they use angelic hierarchies. So you're just going to take all the teachers from the Hebrews and the Jews. You're going to just take all their teachers, huh? I want to know though, Cosmon, do you really believe the earth is 3,000 years old? I want to know if you believe what your book say. Put you on a chopping block. What's up with it? Right? So let's get into it. Faithism, the resulting worldview. The worldview produced by the method, the covenant of faith is a work, spiritualist contract, the mandating pacifism, vegetarianism, veganism, and communal living. Historicize sacred narrative, recontextualize figures like Zoroaster, and Moses as gods sent by angels. So you ain't so he ain't have the mind to come up with his own stuff. If it was automatic writing, at least you should have made it look like it was automatic writing. You ain't just gonna go out here and steal everything from everybody, bro. What's going on here? Mind y'all, they said it was automatic writing. So y'all just telling me angels up there, they know who Moses is, and that's something else. Cosmon, are you saying Moses is a historical figure? Are you saying Abraham, Zoroaster, are you saying those are ancient historical figures? If so, I would like to see some proof. If so, I most definitely would like to see some proof. Hierarchy of rulers establishes a bureaucracy where God and Lord are promoted mortals, with Jehovah as the supreme creator. Hey, brother Ashe, I don't know if you're listening, but that sounds like the Baal cycle to me, brother. They got the Baal cycle in here, bro. They got everything in here. Let me read that again, bro. It establishes a bureaucracy where God and Lord are promoted mortals, with Jehovah as the supreme creator. That sound henotheistic, don't it? But it's not a religion though, Quantum. He came up here and swore me up and down this wasn't a religion. He swore you up and down this wasn't a religion. Do your eyes deceive you? Y'all know what I'm going to say, family? Copy this, man. Go do your research on it if y'all think I'm lying. Let's get it. Oaspe's long disproven scientific fallacies. Hey, Quanda, remember my man Cosmon was up here talking about ain't nobody debunked the theories yet. Ain't nobody debunked the Oaspe theories yet. Yeah, all right, we about to debunk them right now. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oaspe fallacies, right? The first one, the rejection of gravity, vortex theory. This is where Cosmon keep coming up here talking about that vortex. The book of Oaspe predicted the vortex first. Ain't nobody do it before them. It predicted the vortex first. Let's get into this book BS he talking. Right? Explicitly denies universal gravitation. Proposes spaces filled with the rotating fluid-like vortices. The physicality pushes planets. What? Number one, hold on. Yo, it denies universal gravitation. Let's get over here. The scientific correction, family. Gravity as a fundamental force that exist. Newton established this, and then it was refined by Einstein. Orbits results from inertia and gravitational pull. This is what gravity as a fundamental force states. Space is a near vacuum, not a swirling medium, like the Oaspe Bible is trying to say. And Newton had this way before we had a Oaspe. Let's see. The revival of Cartesian physics. Rene Descartes, bro. Really? Rene Descartes? You don't think nobody know the teachings of Rene Descartes? Oh, but I bet you didn't know that Cartesian physics was disproven, huh? Mathematically disproven by Newton. My man Newton be out here putting in work, y'all. Y'all better go research up on some Isaac Newton. Right? He mathematically debunked the physics of Cartesian physics. And he did this 200 years before Oaspe was even a thing. So where do Cosmon come out his neck? Where do he think he have the authority to come and say the Oaspe Bible was the first Bible to make a scientific prediction like this, and it haven't been disproven yet? So far we seen him using all the other religions, but then he gonna say he's not a religion. And now we see where his whacked out scientific theories come from. Other scientific theories that been debunked. Come on now. This the game we playing, Cosmon? Because it's looking bad for you, bro. Do y'all know, family, that the Oaspe Bible denies solar radiation? Solar radiation, quantum? Yes. It claims that light and heat do not travel from the sun. It argues that light and heat are generated locally within Earth's atmosphere via the photospheres and friction. Hey, I got the same question to you, Cosmon, as I have to the religious people now. If Jehovah was so intelligent, why he didn't understand solar radiation? Let's get into it. The scientific correction, family. Solar radiation is proven. Let me say that again, family. Solar radiation is proven. Travels via electromagnetic waves across 93 million miles of vacuum. Light takes 8 minutes to reach Earth. So you telling me us mere humans can measure the time it take light to come from the sun to Earth, but Jehovah, who was supposedly the creator of the sun, didn't know that? He ain't looking so omniscient now, Cosmon. You got some trouble on your hands, Cosmon. You telling me us mere mortals knew that it take light 8 minutes to reach Earth, but Jehovah didn't know that? You got some thinking to do, bro. You in the wrong book. Spontaneous generation, family. Yes, the Oaspe Bible have spontaneous generation in it. It explains life or is explain life's origin via Asimu, green scum. Green scum. That's what the Oaspe Bible say, family. We come from green scum. It states that Infinitesimal life forms appear spontaneously within charged by currents without seeds. What? Infinitesimal life forms appear spontaneous when charged by current without seeds. Do y'all know anything on a planet that we call life appear spontaneously without seed? Don't worry about it, family, because science got it covered. Scientific correction. Biogenesis. Cosmon, you ever heard of it? You ever heard of biogenesis, Cosmon? Spontaneous generation was definitely disproven in the mid-19th century. What's the standard saying, family? Life comes from life. I don't think Cosmon knew that, though, family. He couldn't have knew that. I tell y'all, every time Cosmon opened his mouth, he tell me what he don't know. He showed me what he don't know. He showed me where he lack intellect in what fields. Last one, y'all, then I'm gonna move on to the next slide. False explanation for light and color. The Oaspe Bible gives a false explanation for light and color, family. Yes, it does. It teaches light is the polarity of corporeal needles in solution. What? It claims color is the transposition of these needles. Incoherence, Cosmon. Incoherence. Electromagnetic radiation has most definitely been proven. Light is electromagnetic radiation, Cosmon. I don't think you knew that. We know for sure your Oaspe Bible don't know that. So it's safe to assume that your Jehovah don't know that. You see how I did that? You see how I built my assumption off of gathered information, gathered knowledge? This is what real scientists in the field do. We don't just assume life forms spontaneous. We don't do that. That's the difference between my assumptions and your assumptions. Your assumptions is based on dogma, which we're seeing right now. My assumptions, which I just presented, right, is fully based on logic and the accumulation of data. How do I know Jehovah or John Bailey Newborough didn't know about electromagnetic radiation? Because if they did, they would have put it in a book instead of a false explanation for light and color. Let's get on that. Hey, Quantum. A1, we gonna need some janitors in here to mop up all this blood, bro. Let's get to his God, his creator, his Jehovah. Let's get to it. Family, did y'all know Jehovah isn't just some unique thing to Oaspe? No. John Bailey Newborough conflated the Hebrew Yahweh. I told y'all Hebrew Israelites, y'all under attack. Y'all need to be on your lookout. Don't get mad at me about it. I'm being a friend. I'm watching y'all six. They coming to take y'all spot. Y'all need to do something about this. Persian Zoroastrianism, right? Ahura, Mazda, right? Olim. Oh man, bro. And Vedic absolute concepts on. Rather than representing an ancient revealed linguistic truth, Jehovah is a linguistic and conceptual hybrid. Historians of religion observed this of artificial synthesis as common in 19th century tactic used to manufacture a universal deity. So this is where Jehovah come from, family. He come from the Hebrew Yahweh, the Persian Zoroastrian Ahura, and the Vedic absolute concept on. Put them all together, you get your Jehovah. But yet, this is not a religion, Cosmine. You got the Hebrew, the Persians, the Zoroastrians, the Vedics, and you sitting up here saying what you following is not a religion. You delusional, Cosmon. That's what you are. Let's get into it, bro. I told y'all the Oaspe Bible hijacked the patriarchs. And not only hijacked the patriarchs, right? But he rewrote the stylization of the patriarchs, the history of the patriarchs. Abraham, rewritten not as a Genesis patriarch, but as a Persian Inhuin and founder of migration for religion. Moses, plucked from history and recast as an Egyptian lawgiver, teaching Zoroastrian doctrine. Moses taught Zoroastrian doctrine, Hebrews, Christians, Muslims. Is this the Moses y'all know? King James disguise. To manufacture reverence, Newborough deliberately imitates 17th century King James cadences. Thou, they, hath. This is rhetorical sleight of hand. Dressing up 19th century occult speculation and ancient linguistic clothing to manufacture false authority. John Ballou Newborough did this. What you got to say about him, Cosmo? I know you ain't gonna say he was just no regular dentist. He ain't had nothing to do with this. Well, if he didn't, then the angels that came through to him, they performed false authority because they didn't know what they was talking about. Whichever way you want to spend it, all of this is an amalgamation of 19th century occult speculation. Let's get into it. Theological hedging and covenantal control. Let's get into this, family. The henotheistic pantheon. Y'all not religious, Cosmon? Y'all got a pantheon. Y'all got a pantheon, bro. Oaspe fails to maintain consistent monotheism. It operates under a henotheistic framework, acknowledging a vast hierarchy of rival false gods, Osiris, Baal. I told you, brother Ashe, hey, some of these stories sound like the Baal cycle, right? No wonder, because Baal is in the story. Luimion, they just added that name. That name don't even mean nothing. They just made that name up. Kabbalakis. That name came from Kabbalah. Y'all see how they just making stuff up? Kabbalakius. Yo, is a character in the book named Kabbalakius. It's crazy, bro. Who demand worship while arbitrary forcing Jehovah to the apex. This is the Baal cycle. The King James disguise. Here go that covenant, y'all. And I give unto you a covenant that you shall not go to war, neither revenge, not suffer yourselves to be organized into armies. Serve ye Jehovah. Serve ye Jehovah. Y'all see it? But this is not a religion, family. This is not what? Wait a minute, Cosmo. You got some explaining to do, bro. You tell me this not a religion, but then I go to your book and your book telling me to serve Jehovah. Come on, bro. You got to do better than this, man. At least be honest with yourself. At least be honest with yourself. What else do it say before I move on? It says, serve ye Jehovah and put away all your idols and earthly laws. Do that sound familiar, Hebrew Israelites? Do that sound familiar, Christians? Now, we're going to get a little deeper into this Jehovah thing, right? Because when you go into the book of Jehovah, or the book of Oaspe, right? The Oaspe Bible. I'm gonna bring that up too. We're gonna be getting to the end of my presentation. And then after my presentation, I'm gonna bring up the book of Oaspe. We're gonna dive into that a little bit. And then I'm gonna share my screen with some more information, and I'm gonna open up the panel, y'all. We almost done. But when you go into the book of Oaspe, right? On page 12, you see this. You see the Creator, the Great Spirit, the Almighty, the I Am. Who is the I Am, Hebrew Israelites? Is it? Wait a minute. Last time I checked, family, it was Moses that went up to the mountain, right, and talked to Yahweh. And Yahweh responded to Moses and said, I am that I am. So if that's I am, then who is this I am? My man taking titles, bro. This what y'all on? Y'all just ain't got no shame in y'all game, huh? Father, Heavenly Father. He's the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father, but this not a religion? All highest, all light, all person, all higher, highest cause, highest person, ever present, named by man. But yet he got all of these false gods running around. Hey, man. This get crazy. Let's take a look at these 4 false gods, right? So, Luimiang, right? However you pronounce that, Luimiang, was the false god who founded, by inspiration, the great sect called Christians. This was the false god who founded, by inspiration, the great sect called Christians. This is what the Oaspe Bible say, y'all. I ain't lying to you. It said right here, Oaspe, y'all, 107, page 13. This is where the Christians came from, y'all, according to Oaspe. I want to know how many Christians actually agree with that. He is first mentioned in books of Issachar, right? Chapter, whatever that is, 10, 11, 12, 13. And his career is continued in the books of Issachar and Es until he is finally cast into hell. There's a hell in the Oaspe Bible, family. But this ain't religious. Cosmon ain't religious. But Cosmon believe in a hell. Do you believe in a hell, Cosmon? Because if you do, then you're religious. If you don't, not only are you confused, but you go against your text here, your sacred text. You go against that. And you know you can't do that, because once you do that, you fall through the floorboard. You can't do that now. Which corresponds in date to the same time the Pope established himself. They talking about the Pope? My man said he created this, or he inspired the sect called Christians. Oh, he founded the sect called Christians. The same time the Pope established himself as vicegerent on earth. The very poorly because his God was not est. This is crazy, bro. The God who by inspiration founded by what is now called Buddhism, Kabbalactus, founded Buddhism. Hey, somebody get me a Buddhist so I can see if this is true or not. Somebody get Cosmon a Buddhist so he can tell Cosmon that this is a bunch of BS right here. That's what we need to do. The God who by inspiration founded what is now called Buddhism. He is the first mentioned in the book of Esdras. Wait a minute. It says this God is the first mentioned in the book of Esdras. And then it said this God. Contradiction right there, family. Anyway, crazy. And his history is continued in books of Esdras and Es until he's finally cast into hell. That's the second God that they cast into hell. Hold on. My bad. My apologies, family. My apologies. Oh, did I go down too far? I went down too far. My apologies, family. Right? Let's get to Thoth or Gabriel. Even the Egyptians ain't even safe. The Kemetic people ain't even safe. They got Thoth all up in the book, who by inspiration founded Mohammedanism. Do y'all hear this, Muslims? Thoth or Gabriel founded Mohammedanism. First mentioned in the book of Esdras. Also cast into hell. This part down here is what's striking the needle, family. These four false gods were delivered out of hell by God. Jehovah's son. So now Jehovah got a son named God. What type of magic show is going on here? And you believe this crap, Cosmon? This is only page 13 of the book. This ain't even a real book. This is literally still just the preface of the book I'm going over. What kind of incoherence is this? The four false gods were delivered out of hell by God, Jehovah's son, that figured largely in the great wars against Jehovah in the time of the ancient Jews. Whoa. Hey, Hebrews, y'all keeping stories out on us now? So in y'all ancient history, do y'all know of a war that happened between the false gods and Jehovah? Because that's what the Oaspe Bible was saying. It's saying there was a great war that was going on between the false gods and Jehovah in the time of the ancient Jews. Y'all got to talk to Cosmon about this, Hebrews. Y'all got to talk to this man about this. Y'all can't just be letting this man come out here and slander y'all religion like this. giving out false narratives about y'all religion. That's crazy. Let's get into it, family. I don't know why y'all haven't been exposed this. Omar, Khazad, where the Gideon, where the Hebrews at? Why y'all ain't been exposed this BS bullcrap, this flim flam, this trickery that's going on here, this manipulation? That's why I call John Bally Newborough the author of confusion. Y'all see all this confusion right here. That's all it says, is a bunch of confusion. You read this, we on page 13. You don't know if you coming or going. Let's get into it, family. Okay, this is a Oaspe. Listen to the very beginning of the story, family, is incoherent. Let's get into it. Let's read this. After the creation of man, notice, family, it don't start from the creation. How are you the creator, but then you don't even have a creator in the beginning of the book? That come way, way later. But anyway, after the creation of man, the creator, Jehovah, said unto him, I thought Cosmos said that Jehovah don't talk to the man. Are you lying, Cosmos? Or are you just up here to tell lies and spin false narratives, bro? Let me read it again. After the creation of man, the creator, Jehovah, said unto him, that thou should know thou art the works of my hand. I have given thee capacity for knowledge, power, and dominion. This was the first era. Now let's stop right there, family. So clearly we see Jehovah talking to the man and telling the man that I have given you knowledge, the capacity of knowledge, power, and dominion. Right? Mind you, he created the man. Let's read verse 2. But the man was helpless, crawling on his belly, and he understood not the voice of the Almighty. Hold up. So you telling me that the creator is talking to something that can't even understand him? But wait, you're the Almighty. Can't you just make it understand you? Oh no, Humble, that'll be too simple, bro. That'll be too simple to put in there. You know we gotta leave some pseudo judo in there. Oh man, the incoherence quantum. But man was helpless, crawling on his belly. And then look at how it described, man. We was helpless, crawling on our belly. We was ignorant. So the Almighty just created something that was just so gullible. But here's the incoherent part though, quantum, right? And he understood not the voice of the Almighty, right? So now the man is not understanding Jehovah. So instead of Jehovah just making the man understand him, let's see what Jehovah did. And Jehovah called his angels, who were older than the earth, and he said unto them, Go ye, raise man upright, and teach him to understand. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, family, but this was supposed to be an omniscient being. This was supposed to be the all-powerful, the all-knowing. But yet, he had to call his angels and tell his angels to teach man how to understand. The math ain't mathing, family. Now I'm telling you, Cosmon, the math ain't mathing. So let's see what they do. The angels of heaven descended to earth and raised man upright, and man wandered about the earth. This was the second era. Jehovah said to the angels that were with man, Behold, man hath multiplied on earth. Bring ye them together, and teach them to dwell in cities and nations. Why isn't Jehovah talking to these people himself? Why he need to do the angels to do everything? Oh, that's right, family, because the man understood not the voice of the Almighty. But then you can't be the Almighty if you can't even get me to understand your voice. Like, let's get into it, family. This is something else that I want to touch on because it's very interesting. Very interesting. Watch this. And the beast divided itself into 4 great heads and possessed the earth about, and man fell down and worshipped them. And the names of the heads of the beasts were Brahmin, Buddhist, Christian, Mohammedan. Hey, Cosmo, I might have a lot of people mad at you right now, Cosmo. My apologies, bro. My apologies, bro. I just had to expose this real quick. So, Cosmon's religion is telling you, Hebrew Israelite, that you're a beast. He's telling you, Christian, that you're a beast. He's telling you, Muslim, that you're a beast. And the Brahmins out there, the Buddhists out there, he talking to y'all too. He's saying y'all are beasts. And they divided the earth and appointed it between themselves, choosing soldiers and standing armies for the maintenance of their earthly arrangements. Now, let's get down here, right? Watch this. This right here as well. Let me blow this up. See if I can. I can't even blow it up. Let me read the best I can. It's this right here, family, this is another instance of Jehovah's powerlessness. Watch this. Jehovah called out to man to detest him from evil, but man heard him not. For some reason, Jehovah could talk to the angels, he could talk to everybody, but he can't talk to these people. But man heard him not. For the cunning of the beast had changed man's flesh, so that his soul was hid if in a cloud, and he loathed sin. He loved sin. My apologies. So they got sin in the Oaspe Bible. I wonder where they get that from. Jehovah called unto his angels. So he couldn't get through the man. So then again, he going back to his angels in heaven saying, now here's the interesting thing. If you couldn't get through to the man because he loves sin, what make you think your angels can get through to him if they not as powerful as you are? Do you be asking yourself these questions, Cosmo, when you be reading this book? I got to the 5th page and I was asking myself all kind of questions about this book. Wait a minute, how did this make sense, bro? Hold on, how does this make sense, bro? Ain't no way you can read this book and think that it's coherent. It makes sense. I know you can't read this book and think that it's true. You can believe it, but ain't no proof for it. Hence, this is why Oaspe is a religion. I apologize, it's a religion. Because you can believe all of this, Cosmon, but just like all other gods, right? Ain't no proof it's Jehovah. And hey, I hope you come up because I want you to show me some proof of Jehovah. I don't want no flim-flamming talking around the bush. You just seen all the slides if you watching. I know you just seen them. So don't try to act like you ain't see what I was saying. I want you to be able to prove it, bro. You say you rock with the science more than the religion. I want to see if you could prove this. You asked me to prove something, I proved it. I want you to prove this. Let's get back to it, family. So Jehovah called unto his angels in heaven, saying, go ye down to the earth once more, to man, whom I created. He let the angels know that he created the man. Whom I created to inhabit the earth and enjoy it. And ye say to man, thus said Jehovah, behold, the 7th era is at hand. The Creator commandeth this, thy change from the carnivorous man of contention to an herbivorous man of peace. The four heads of the beast shall be put away, and war shall be no more. So God sent his angels down there to tell the men, hey, listen, stop following this God, but then start following this God so you can put away the evil. And then this sounds just like the Bible, man. This is religious scripture here. This is religious language. Let's get into it, y'all. There's some more interesting stories in here. This right here. For all my Christians in the chat, for all my Hebrew Israelites, where y'all at, family? Where y'all at? Right? Y'all know about Matthew 10 and 34, don't y'all? And Omar, just for you, Omar, I got the King James Version, bro. I ain't gonna do you like that. I got the King James Version just for you, Omar. What do Matthew 10 and 34 say, family? Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. Right? And now, what else it say? It say not peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at vengeance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. This is what Matthews 10 and 34 say. What do the Oaspe Bible say, family? Watch this. But the beast said, think not I am come to send peace on the earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. I come to set man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother. Wait a minute. Plagiarism, bro. We throwing red flags on the play, man. We got a red flag right here. Word for word plagiarism. And before anybody get up here talking about, well, they don't call it plagiarism. This didn't happen in antiquity. This happened in the 19th century, 1882 to be exact. This is plagiarism. They knew what plagiarism was. Word for word. Same words, different book. Coincidence, family? I think not. I don't even believe in coincidences. We knew John Bailey Newborough knew what he was doing when he put this Oaspe Bible together. Let's get into it, family. Oh, okay. So that's the end of my presentation. What we're going to do now, family, is we're going to move over to the actual. Let me zoom in so y'all can see this, family. Because I want Cosmon to know I don't be bull crapping, bro. Oaspe. Hold on. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in so he know. A Cosmon Bible. In the words of Jehovah. In the words of who, family? Jehovah. And his angel ambassadors. Who's the author of this book, family? John Bailey Newborough. I thought they just said that he didn't, but why do it got his? Hey, that's something for Cosmon to figure out, bro. Let's get into this, though. I ain't gonna be too long. I just want to show y'all a couple of things. I know I showed y'all in a presentation, but I want to actually get into this book, man, so y'all can really see how crazy it is. Right? I showed y'all before the word abracadabra in here, right? And what they say abracadabra was, it's a prayer. Christians, Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, y'all know that is witchcraft. So I don't know where Cosmon coming talking about that's a prayer. Y'all got to talk to him about this, man. Y'all got to talk to him about this. Let's get into it. Let's get some of these pages real quick. I want to show y'all something that's interesting. Mind y'all, I was just reading, I was explaining to y'all, I was just showing y'all how Jehovah was talking to the man, right? And the man couldn't talk back. Watch this though, family. This is interesting. Hold on. So this right here is called, I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Hold on, let me get back to the beginning. Is this it? Hints to the reader. Nah. We need I need Oaspe. All right, voice of man. Here it is. All right. So this little chapter right here, right, is about a man who is praying. He's talking to Jehovah, right? He's talking to Jehovah about all his strifes and his struggles. You know, hey, do I not deserve this or what I'm doing? And I'm coming to miss. Y'all know the prayers. Y'all know the prayers, right? But then, so he talking to Jehovah. He talking to Jehovah. He's still talking to Jehovah. He talking to Jehovah. Now, he's still talking to Jehovah. Now, and this is the interesting part, right? Because when Jehovah responds and actually starts talking to this man, this is what he says. All was, all is, all ever shall be. All spake, and motion was, and is, and ever shall be. And being positive was called. And it's a call, he and him. All motion was his speech. He said, I am. Hebrew Israelites, he said, I am. He trying to take your God epithets, bro. You gotta check this. And he comprehended all things. He comprehended all things. But yeah, he couldn't even tell the men to the information that he wanted to tell them because they did. Hey man, the incoherence all over the place. The seen and the unseen, he said, I am the soul of all. And the all that is seen is my person and my body. So you telling me all of these false gods are you? And you just letting these false gods roam around and have wars against you and take the world over and all of this, Jehovah? How powerful are you really? Let's get into it. Right? So here Jehovah is going in talking, right? And so now here, right, the man in Jehovah starts to talk back and forth, right? Jehovah said, by virtue my presence created, I've seen and unseen things of that nature, right? It say of ease he called and sometimes entered some spirits and something angels. Jehovah said, I created the earth and the falsehood, right? So he's basically, the man is praying, right? And like for an example, right? Bang, right? The man right here is praying, and he's like, hey, I want to see all that's written. You see what I'm saying? I want to see how these. So he's asking Jehovah to show him certain things, and so Jehovah is answering him, showing him certain things, right? And so it say, thus spake Jehovah by the light of Cosmon, proclaim he these things amongst the nations of earth. Man looked upward in prayer, desiring to know the man of all created things, both on earth and in heaven. And Jehovah answered him. So Jehovah can answer him, but he couldn't talk to the other people. Do y'all see the incoherence here? This is where the real incoherence get in. I talked about this a little bit in my presentation, where Jehovah said, I made, right? This is creationist. This is a creationist worldview. This ain't a scientific worldview, right? Jehovah is telling the people that he created the vortex. He created the seen. He created the unseen. He created the vortex. It's a great vortex. Oh, remember this, family? I was talking about this in my presentation. A great vortex created I for the sun. And within this vortex and subject to it, I made the vortices of many of the corporeal worlds. The sun vortex I caused to rotate, and I gave it power to carry other vortices within it. God is saying that God is, well, Jehovah is saying that Jehovah is moving these things around in space. Before I end it, family, I just want to before I end it, family, I just want to leave y'all with this really fast. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I'm gonna share my screen one more time, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this. We're gonna open up the platform. I'm interested in seeing what y'all have to say, about the presentation. I appreciate y'all for being here. Wait, hold on. Come on, man. Ain't no way. It don't even matter. You know what? This is let me share this. Hold on. Let me go here. New chat. All right, so I'm gonna share this screen real fast, y'all. I just want to see. I couldn't find it. I had it up here. I just couldn't find it. But we gonna see this. Watch this, fam. I'm gonna leave y'all with this, and I'm gonna open up the panel. First off, okay, are all worldviews religious? I just want y'all to bear with me for a second, family. I'm gonna show y'all something. No, not all worldviews are religious. A worldview is a comprehensive framework, philosophy, or lens through which an individual or group interprets reality, the nature of existence, and morality. While religion provides major categories of worldviews, many secular, philosophical, and scientific frameworks operate entirely outside of religious or supernatural definitions. Okay, watch this. Okay. What constitutes a religion? Watch. I'm doing something, fam. I'm doing something. Just walk with me. Just walk with me. Defining what constitutes a religion is a complex task because the concept varies across culture, academic disciplines, legal standing. Key components of a religion, while not every religion possesses all of these traits equally, most include a combination of the following elements: belief in the supernatural or transcendent. Okay, right? Most definitions centers on a connection to a reality beyond the observable physical world. This can include belief in one or many deities, monotheism or polytheism, astral spirits, universal life force, or transcendent realms of existence. I just showed y'all all of that got to do with a Oaspe. It's a sacred versus profane distinctions. Religions divide the world into ordinary everyday things, the profane and the set apart. It's a venerated and set apart venerated things. The sacred objects, time, space, or text are treated within ultimate reverence and awe. Okay, we got that. Rituals and practices, right? Structured actions such as prayers. We just seen a bunch of prayers in the Oaspe Bible. meditations, worship. Jehovah told the people to worship him. He entered a covenant with them. Sacrifices, pilgrimages, right? Moral code and ethics, guidelines for human behavior. That was a part of the covenant, right? Sacred narratives and myths. We seen a bunch of them, right? Now watch this. Okay, so this is what constitutes a religion, right? Watch this. Watch this. Oh, I stopped it. I stopped it. I ain't say it, family. Right? Listen, yes, the Oaspe often referred to as Oaspe, a new Bible, and TAC movement associated with it, known as Faithism, falls squarely into the category of religion. Let me read it again, family. Yes, the Oaspe, often referred to as Oaspe, a new Bible, and the movement associated with it, known as Faithism, fall squarely into the category of religion. Mic drop, say no more. We about to open up the panel. I'm interested in hearing what y'all gotta say. Hold on, family. Oh, let me hand me up here real quick. Quantum, you there, Quantum?
Now you got to put me up on the stage. Yeah, I'm here. What up? What the business?
My bad. Added you up. You want to get put back in the back, Brody?
Oh no, I'm good. I just got to tell you, nice presentation, and very informative. You know how you do it. I want you to know now the Cosmos is about to be on you.
Hey, I hope he come up here, man. I hope he come up here.
Valuable information, you know what I'm saying? They come up there, they get some more information. I really like I said, I love the information and things. Me not being able to finish the total book yet. I told him that I wouldn't have any perspective until I finished the whole thing. But you was on with the facts and stuff that you brought, so it's gonna be nice to hear what they dispute about it, because I'm pretty sure they have most of the bases covered when it comes to that. So we'll see. But wonderful show, man. Wonderful show.
Most definitely. I appreciate you. What's up, brother Omar?
What's going on, brother Humble? Shalom. How y'all brothers doing? My good brother Humble and Oli. How y'all brothers doing, man?
We doing good.
All right now, Omar, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Good to hear, man. I'm in a good mood today. So, Humble, I do want to give a fair synopsis of your presentation. I agree with a lot of what you said in your presentation, but I think would have made it more entertaining or interactive. Brother Cosmon should have a chance to speak and denounce or break down the certain scriptures in the Oaspe that you read. I would love to see Brother Cosmon come up on here, interject with you, and wherever he doesn't disagree, break it down and then break down the Oaspe scriptures. So he does deserve a fair shot to voice his opinion. I just wanted to say that.
Hey, I'm open him. I want him to come up here. He need to come up here.
Well, here's the thing, Oli, and then we can open it up more. Humble. And this is my opinion, and I'm not asking you to agree with my opinion or my view. I think you should have spoke to Brother Cosmon and at least work something out to where you give your presentation and then Cosmon shouldn't be allowed to interrupt you. But once you're done with the presentation,
hold on, Omar, real fast.
Hold on, I'm almost done, Humble.
No, I can't. It say you ain't supposed to be up here, Cosmon. It say you still banned for disrespecting, bro.
That's Omar.
I mean, Omar, I apologize, Omar. I apologize.
I forgot all about
the thingy. I was just reading the thingy. Shoot, look, I forgot. Look, I thought y'all said 24 hours. I ain't know. I was all right.
Yeah, it ain't been 24 hours yet. It's only been like 17.
Not 17. I'm dead, bro. I'm dead, bro. Let's say, man, everybody who read it know damn well.
Omar. But this to Omar, if you listen to Omar, when Humble finished, probably an hour later, I'm gonna go back live so me and you can continue. But it's gonna be your 24 hours because I can show you the matter of fact. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up real quick just to show you what we was talking about when we told you that we was gonna get stripes. Just in case you thought we was playing.
Yeah.
We trying to hit us, man. They ain't trying to hit us. They did hit us. Let me see where it's at. Didn't I send it to you, Humble?
You showed me earlier.
Oh, I don't think I sent it. But I got the damn. But I'll bring it tonight, Omar, and show you the receipt of where we got tagged. Show the video of Frank Castle going in the building. God. So don't worry, Omar. You're gonna get your chance.
Come on up here, y'all. Come on up here, y'all.
And anybody, if Cosmon ain't in there, but I seen people in the chat who might know a little bit about Oaspe. So y'all come on up and engage with my man's Humble, man. Give us the information that he might have missed or didn't understand, or that you think he can make us understand.
I mean, it ain't really nothing. It ain't really nothing. No, see, here's the thing, right? I be confident in my information, and the reason I be so confident is because I know the work I put in. So even if it is some more Oaspe dudes in the comments and things that I need, come on up here. If you think I misrepresented your worldview, come up here and show me different, and then me and you can go over the Oaspe text together. You feel me? Like. That's how you did it yesterday, Quantum. How you had to bring out the Bible on the old school on them. We gonna have to do that. But other than that, man, that's my presentation, Quantum. That's my presentation, bro. I'm still waiting for man. Somebody get this man Cosmon in here. What up, Smash? Hey, Smash, did you see the presentation? Come on up here, Smash. Omar, we can't bring you up, bro. You ain't out of time out yet. I know you just heard Quantum tell you that. About to go to a word from our sponsors, y'all. I appreciate it.
The Attention all debate fans. You've been watching, you've been arguing, you've been picking sides. But now it's time to level up. From this point forward, all debates on this platform are going members only. That means the hottest clashes, the wildest arguments, and your favorite personalities going head to head will only be available to subscribers. You want real scholarship? You want the smoke? You want the unfiltered action? Then don't get left outside looking in. Sign up today for as low as $3.99 and get full access to every debate, every moment, every knockout argument. This is Titans Debate League, where legends are made and debates get real. Join now or miss out.
And we back, family. Yeah, Omar, bro. You got to be on your P's and Q's now, bro.
Humble.
Yes, sir.
So, in your research, what was the most interesting thing that you did find out about Oaspe?
It had all these other religions, and I know it had Brahma in here, man. It got Brahma, it got Ray, it got Osiris, it got everybody, man. It's not missing a beat. You hear me? But other than that, ain't nothing too spectacular. You feel me? It's the same old, same old knockoff to the religion. Same old, damn old. What I'm interested in is I'm interested in how Cosmon is going to come now and show that Oaspe is not a religious worldview. What's your opinion? Matter of fact, Quantum, you seen the presentation, you heard the presentation. After watching the presentation, what I brought out about the presentation and what I talked about the Oaspe, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, as I stated, I did say I wouldn't state my opinion until I finished reading it all, but you asked me about your presentation. And so I must say that it's very appealing if you trying to find fault in Oaspe. Me, myself, I do find interesting and excellent answers to different questions, even if they might not suit what I think the answer would be. It's very, how can I say it, specific about the terms that it uses and how it answers for previous events within history. And so that outlook is wonderful, especially when you get just to the information. But of course, it has bumpy patches, especially to a mind like mine. And so when I get to your presentation, I understand that it's really about two different worldviews and what explains existence better. The method that naturalism use and the method that Oaspe proposes, and some of the things that John Newbrough, or I should say the book offered as an explanation, and then later science kind of correlates with it or sticks on that topic. It just makes me think deeper about if they might have the book, and instead of saying that it's like faithism or something, maybe they use it for experimentation, because some of the things that he did say did come find out to be true. And so
Quantum,
I'm still doing
Did you listen to my presentation, Quantum?
Yep, I showed the thing. I saw the things
And
that you
so, how
said.
are you
That's why I can't
saying
wait
what you saying if you heard my presentation?
because your presentation didn't touch on all the things that it said. It touched on the ones that it didn't correlate. The ones that it did correlate, you didn't speak on those.
Like what? Like
So,
give me an example, bro. I just want to hear an example.
one of the examples is when they talk about the distance of the moon and the earth, and if it should be correlated within the atmosphere. Now, the atmosphere stretches all the way to whatever end they say. And I think Oaspe might say that it's in that last part of the atmosphere, the
No, that's not what
exosphere.
Oaspe say. I brought that up. That's not what Oaspe say. You want me to bring it up again? Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
bring it
that's
up
why.
again.
That's why I say. That's why I wanted them to.
Yeah, so let me bring it
Come
up
up.
again so I can show you what Oaspe say about that,
You
right?
bet. Why you pulling it up? What up, Caesar?
All right, so right here, right? So what Cosmon is saying is he's using Rene Descartes' 17th century vortex theory. And he's saying that the sun, this vortex, right, that Jehovah supposedly created and move everything around, right, is what caused all of this. And so when you look into the as we even went down here, right? When you look into what it's saying about how he created the sun and he created the earth, he's saying he created the vortices. So ain't nothing about how far the earth is or how far the moon is away from the earth. Ain't none of that within the Oaspe.
So you haven't found out. You haven't found anything that says that the moon is in the Earth's atmosphere or nothing like that. Like you
No,
said.
we always known the moon was in the Earth's atmosphere. We've always known that. Now, the other day when I had my presentation, I don't think you've seen that, but go back and watch that one, and I show you what the 2019 article that Cosmon pulled up actually say. It actually say that it doesn't say the moon is in the Earth's atmosphere. It's an article talking about that the Earth's biosphere, right, chronosphere, reaches out further than it expected it to. That's what that article was talking about. It ain't talking about.
Now listen though.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of Cosmon's and them arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Since we did just now find that out, and Oaspe, and like I said, I still have to finish reading so I can find it. Oaspe gave a correlation to that before science said, you know what? There's part of the atmosphere that stretches further and actually encompasses the moon.
That's not what Oaspe said. I just told you
okay.
I just showed you what Oaspe said.
No, but they say something different. I'm not blocking you. I'm just saying maybe you didn't get to it because I know you haven't read the whole book. So that's why I want him to come up because I'm like I said, I'm not refuting what you say and what he say. That's on him. So he got to come show
this right here, right? Quantum. Look, you looking at this? You see this?
Yeah.
Oaspe fallacies, right? The long disproven scientific fallacies, right? It's a rejection of gravity, vortex theory. This is what Cosmon is talking about. He's talking about vortex theory, right? It explicitly denies universal gravitation. The process of space is filled with rotating fluid-like vortices. This is what Oaspe say, right? That physically push planets. This is what Oaspe say, right? It says the revival of Cartesian physics. Now, here's what's so interesting, right? So Newton, right, which came before the Oaspe Bible, had already established, right, gravity as a fundamental force, right? Now, the revival of Cartesian physics, also dealing with these vortices, right? The vortex theory, right? He tried to use it to explain planetary motion. This is what Oaspe is saying. Now watch this. Cartesian physics has already been disproven mathematically by Isaac Newton, right? The Priscina Mathematica, 1687. This came out in 1687, 200 years before Oaspe, Quantum. So now, how is this something that Oaspe had that nobody ever found out about until 2019? This is why I said when you read that article, you'll see what that article is really saying. That article is not saying that our biosphere was never out there, right? Our studies are now saying that it's farther than we expected it to be. That's what it's saying. We've always known the moon was in the gravitational rotation of the gravitational realm of the Earth. You see what I'm saying? How do we know the Earth? How do we know that the moon orbits the Earth? That wasn't nothing new. You see what I'm saying? So that right there debunked all of that what Cosmon was saying. What's up? What's up, Caesar?
C's. If you're talking, you're on mute.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Hey, I ain't doing nothing, man. How y'all doing?
All right, all right. What you got going down, man? You watch the show?
Yeah, I watched the show. You know, I don't want to. I mean, well, yes, I do want to. You know, because I don't know nothing about Oaspe. So this is my first time, like, you know,
Go ahead, bro.
what it
You can
was.
ask the question. You know, ask away, and whatever we can discuss, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't discussing. I was just saying that I think that your you know, what you put out, you know, versus what Oaspe, you know, what you showed, what Oaspe was, what I heard, you know, I don't know how I can put it, bro. I don't care if you get one thing right in a book. I'm talking about just the overall facts. You know, if those are the facts, you know, that you put up, and I'm pretty sure they are, you know, you got the sources or whatever. I mean, that ain't nothing that me, myself, if I came across it, that I would really just take serious like that, and like to where I'm like, oh, I'm a watch you, you know.
Facts.
That's just the bottom, you know, just keeping it real. Like, I don't care what it say about this making this. I'm looking at the whole story about the man who came up with it and all that. And I know that anybody can just come up with some stuff and be like, well, he was given this from God and all of that. I don't get in jiggy with all that. We're going to look at all the facts.
Yep.
The realistic facts about
and that's
things.
why, if I may, bro, that's why I brought out earlier in my presentation about how Cosmon want people to believe this was just a regular dentist who was inspired by an angel who had automatic writing. That's far from the truth. This man was a 33rd degree Mason way before he wrote the book Oaspe Bible. He was associated with the Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky and them, way before he wrote the book Oaspe. This is where he get his inspiration from. You see what I'm saying? I told y'all he was named after a pastor, his parents' favorite pastor. You see what I'm saying? He dove into Hinduism, Buddhism. He dove into all that stuff way before he wrote the Oaspe Bible. This is why we're able to see all of those things in the Oaspe Bible. Is because they're inspirations of his that he went through.
I mean, when I kind of look at it and the things that I kind of seen, you know, my take on everything was, you know, overall, what that the dude was just, you know, somebody that tried to come up with something, you know what I'm saying, and write it. He took a lot of stuff from the Bible and put it into his own interpretation. You know, he put a lot of things out there that I seen that you put on that chart that you had, what that was been disproven. You know, so
exactly, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of my presentation.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that really from a place of somebody who ain't heard of Oaspe. I don't got no judgment on it. I just heard what you know what you said, and I don't care if whoever follow Oaspe come up and say nothing. Like, if those right there are the facts, which is I know they are talking about him, you know, who he is, when he was born, what he was into, his outlook on things, and then he just had this typewriter and did all this. Man, this all sounds like a, you know, I mean, I'm just saying. That's what it sounds like to me, man. Like
Yeah, that's a
I
fact.
can't believe that we can believe things like this, but we can't believe real things that go on right now in the
Mm-hmm.
present. And we got the
Mm-hmm.
benefit that we can go back and look at things. And this is 2026. We know something ain't
Right.
right when we just see it ain't right.
Right. No, most definitely. And I'm gonna respond to you, the bronze yogi. Um, so masonry never did anything to me. However, we understand the worldview that masonry falls under. We understand that masonry falls under um, a religious worldview. They believe in the supernatural. They believe in the all powerful being and God and things of that nature. So I'm not coming for Masons, but what I'm saying is, as a believer and a follower of Oaspe, like Cosmon is, um, you can't sit up here and champion that your worldview is not religious when the background of your worldview, the foundation of your worldview, falls on everything that have to do with religion. That was my point about bringing up the Masons, Brody. It wasn't no shot at the Masons.
Yeah, yeah. So man,
Facts, Akira. Facts, Akira. I appreciate you. Hey man, hit them thumbs up, share the video, like the live, hit that link so we can come up and have this conversation. You know, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all the engagement in the comments. Go ahead, brother. Quantum.
I was gonna say, when you was doing your research, did you see what Oaspe stood for?
What Oaspe stood for? I didn't
Uh-huh.
know it was an anachronism for anything. Hey, maybe I should check that out and see if it is. I
Check
do
it out.
know that the Oaspe, that's another thing, right? Every time we hear Cosmon talk, he say Oaspe, Oaspe, Oaspe. The worldview is called Faithist. That's the worldview, right? Oaspe, the Bible, because it's called the Oaspe Bible. But Oaspe, the Bible, is the method. It's the sacred text of the Faithist. It tells you, I showed y'all the covenant, right? In my presentation. When Jehovah made a covenant with the people, he said, and here stand, y'all shall now be called Faithists. So why and I know why Cosmon don't ever say that he's a faithist, because then once he say that he follow faithism, we already know that's belief. You see what I'm saying? He can't run from the religious with the he can't run from the religion with the faithism. You see what I'm saying? But Oaspe is the Bible, is the actual book, the method. You see what I'm saying, that they follow. So that, remember in my presentation, I also said, or why Cosmon don't know the difference between a worldview and a methodology. This is why he's constantly saying Oaspe instead of saying Faithist.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you brothers rock with the afterlife? I don't see the type of philosopher I am. I ask questions, so I would have to ask, what do you mean by afterlife?
Okay.
Right? Because I don't think that there is a such thing as a afterlife. I think there's such thing as a transitional period in life, but there's not a such thing as an afterlife. Because if life precedes life, if life begets life, then what comes after life? More life. So it then becomes a transition in life rather than a movement beyond life.
Let me read the last of messages, okay? She said, okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, so I got you, Brody. It say, do you rock with a life after your natural body is dead? Yes. Right. The term death, right? I actually put that in another perspective. I don't look at death as something is ending. I look at death as a transitional period in life. So it's not like, okay, well, this life is ending and something else happens. No, the life that you have never ceased to be life. And so when you transition from one aspect of life to another aspect of life, you don't just disappear. You see what I'm saying? You continue to exist uh throughout the energy, if we would like to say, right? Um if people want to say throughout life, throughout reality, throughout the cosmos, right? Um the essence of you continue to exist, although your physical matter is gone.
Excuse me, husband.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. But yeah, so I don't really deal with the afterlife and stuff like that. Now I'll discuss it just to share my point of view on it and how I perceive and I can and even that is a perception. It's not even something that I'm 100% sure about because I ain't never passed away. You know what I'm saying? But I have meditated, and this is why why I stand for meditation. When a person meditate, they can reach certain dimensions of life. What I mean by that is the fact that for anybody who've actually meditated and they meditate, when you meditate and you get into a still enough calmness, right? Sensation, a state of being. When you get into a calm enough state of being, you can feel the separation between the self, right? And the me, which is the physical manifestation of the self. And that separation allow me to understand that there's more dimensions than to life than just the physical dimensions that we can adhere to with our senses, right? Um, so that's how I would take death. That's the closest thing that I've ever experienced to what one would call death. You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't like a you leave this place and you go to that place. It was more like an expansion. You feel me? So that's how, that's my little perception on that. That's a fact, A1. That is a fact. The afterlife cannot be proven. Yes. The afterlife cannot be proven. Um, eh, you know what? So I struggle with giving things the same merit of credibility of being proven and not proven. And the reason I say that is because while we don't have evidence for some things, right? There is other evidence that lean heavily towards something not being proven, and then it would just be like, I'll give you an example, brother A1. God, for example, right? Some people say God can be proven or disproven. A lot of people know my stance on that. I disagree with that. I say God can be disproven, but God can't be proven. And the reason I say that is because we have all of this evidence that God does not exist, but we don't have any evidence that God exists. And so that's where I hold the merit of judging if something exists or not, or we can prove that it exists or not. You see what I'm saying? It's like, just because we can't prove that something do exist, that don't mean that we don't have logical reasoning and evidence to show that something doesn't exist. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So, um, subjective experience cannot be proven. It can be shared, it can be talked about, but it can't be proven. You see what I'm saying? And the reason it can't be proven is because it's not repeatable. This is why, like, I question people when they say they're able to do things, right? Oh, well, I'm able to astral project. Okay, I want to see. Oh, I'm able to do this. I want to see. These type of things, if y'all want them to be taken seriously, they should be able to have a method behind them to where as though someone can say that this is a thing, this exists as a thing objectively, right? And if we can't do that, then it's only a subjective experience. And see, look, Sonny said the same thing. Cannot be falsified. It's a not proven. Can be falsified, not proven. Cannot be falsified, not proven. Zay consent. I'm for the real deal, folks. Let's get it. That's a fact. That's a fact. Subjective experience um is an important thing. Um, and the reason it's so important because it actually show a level of diversity within the population, right? We both can go to a scary movie and we are experiencing the same movie objectively. Subjectively, you're experiencing it one way and I'm experiencing another way. You see what I'm saying? So people do have to experience it for themselves, but that don't mean everybody going to have the same experience. This is the same thing we see with meditation. You see what I'm saying? Um, I am a huge advocate for meditation, but meditation don't work for everybody.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You see what I'm saying? Meditation don't work for everybody. And
Hey, Humble,
so
I'll be
it
right
all
back.
depends on it all depends on who you are, um, what you're open to, and how you operate. What's up, Dos Mios? We see you in the comments. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Michigan automatic writing, bro, is crazy. Automatic writing go crazy, bro. And my thing is, until you show me, I'm not believing it. Until you show me that this is a repeatable thing, that okay, I do this every time I go to sleep, or I ain't in control of my body, da 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 da. Until you show me that this is without a shadow of a doubt a provable thing, why should I believe it? And you know what's so funny about that? Um, Once you experience it, there's going to be people say it's because people don't know how to explain it. That's why, right? Just because you experience something doesn't mean that you understand what you experienced. And so there's things that happen to people, and because they can't explain it, the first thing they do is they blame it on the supernatural. It must have been God. It must have been this. It must have been luck. It must have been, instead of actually figuring out what happened. You see what I'm saying? This is a phenomenon that happened to casino players a lot, right? Casino players will go to the casino all week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? They go to the casino on Friday and they hit big. I'm the luckiest person in the bro. You bound to hit something. You done came here all week. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when one is operating within this thing we call reality, we have to know how to separate um how can I put it? We have to learn how to separate our illusions, what we think is going on, from what is actually going on, from objectivity. So we have to learn how to separate our subjectivity from objectivity when we're operating in reality. Science doesn't prove anything. We've heard that a lot. You know what I'm saying? We've heard that. You know, science doesn't prove anything with certainty, and you know, of course, you know, and we already know why that is. It's not because science don't know or things of that nature, but science leave room for improvement and refinement, right? Um, there is billions of people making billions of hypotheses about the same thing. And so while most of those hypotheses might turn out to be true, though they're different and they might give you the same result, right? None of them is 100% certain. And so when we understand the fact that proofs and um, um, evidence and science and history and things of that nature, when we understand that language, then we'll we will understand as a family. You'll understand that every time a person is speaking about science and saying this is proven, they're not saying that's a 100% absolute. They're just saying this is what we know by science standards, right? It's a personal thing. Hey yo, was out here like social, man? That'd be crazy, bro. That would be crazy if everybody's personal experiences was out here like social media. Hey, I don't know if you ever seen that movie Inside Out. It'd be just like that movie. It surpasses all understanding. And see, that's where I be falling off the boat at. Uh that's why I be falling off the boat at Demios, because I don't think there's nothing that is in this realm of reality that is beyond understanding. Right? If this reality works off of logic and coherence, like we've seen it do, right? If it work off of predictable measurements, like we've seen it do, I don't think that anything that we explore within this realm of reality is beyond our understanding. Now, a lot of the issue is people don't realize that we haven't really researched, or we haven't really even niched the tip of the iceberg when dealing with this thing we call science and research and reality. We still got a long ways to go. But then now we got to put that in perspective. Even a little bit of progress we can say we made as a human civilization, right, is extraordinary. And even with this little bit of knowledge, we was able to do great things. So while we don't know the rest, we can't say for sure that we're going to be stuck here forever. And that's the problem. People think that we're going to be, even though life show people that things are rapidly evolving around them every day, technology, transportation, right? They still think and believe that the knowledge of man is going to stay stagnant, meaning they don't think that we're going to have any new discoveries within the next 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. And that's just diabolical to think that. You feel me? And so that's how I feel about that, Demios. I would disagree with that. Meditation does not teach you that there's a creator. Meditation teach you that you are in control of your own being. And you know what? Even though I disagree with you, um, I'm not even going to say your perspective and reference on meditation is incorrect, because I don't know what your reference and perspective is on meditation, right? But I know for me, meditation taught me that I am always in control of my own being. It didn't show me how to reach astral dimensions. It didn't show me how to go beyond the physical universe. It didn't all that stuff. It didn't teach me none of that. It taught me self-control. And that's what it was meant to do, by the way. Meditation is a tool for self-control. Meditation was never meant to try to get people to heavenly realms. No, that wasn't the point of meditation. The point of meditation was to be able to be in control of yourself through all conditions of life. This is why the fundamental principle or the fundamental function of meditation is breath work. Because if you can consciously control your breathing and you can keep your awareness on your breath, right, then you're controlling the very essence that help you survive and live. Let's go on to the next one. That's a fact. That's a fact. And here's the thing, right? When people be trying to like pinpoint a God and things of that nature, right? The issue with that I always see is it take you beyond what is observable, what is objective in life, right? For an example, people ask me, do I believe in God? I say, no, I don't believe in God, but I know life. Why do I say that? Why you say that, Humble? I say that because I rather know something exists than believe something exists without any proof, right? I know life exists. And I know life exists because there's many proofs of life. There's many proofs of life doing what life does, which is grow, enhance, expand. You see what I'm saying? But now we don't have no evidence of God and what God do. And that would be my issue with that. And that's the thing right there, bro. That's the thing right there, bro. It ain't about having it all figured out, but it is about being a forever student. You feel me? You it's not about, and sometimes, because I'm called a know-it-all. I'm one of those people that people really believe that I know everything. I don't know everything. But one thing I do is I study and I do research. And so while I study on a daily and I do research on a daily, I'm always updating my information. And that keeps me ahead of the curve when we're in these intellectual arenas. So to a lot of average people, it do seem like I know everything, but I don't know everything. You see what I'm saying? I don't even think I know everything. I don't even believe I know everything. I ain't gonna say I don't try to know everything, but I never tried to be the smartest person in the room, if y'all know what I mean by that. Right? And it ain't my job to outsmart people and things of that nature. Um, hey, I come off as intellectual like this because I am. That's just who I am. And this ain't no bronze, this ain't no direct to you. I'm just saying it out to the air, bro. There are certain aspects of our reality that cannot be proven objectively. It has to be experienced personally. The experience can't be transferred, just failed attempts of explanations. Here's the thing about that, right? Um, you're absolutely right. There are things in our reality that cannot be proven objectively. However, there are things in our reality that can be experimented on and proven indirectly, right? And so, just like for an example, um, dark matter or gravity, right? Um, we can't directly, objectively prove that, but we prove it by seeing the results of what it do. So we can indirectly prove it. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to subjective experience, we can't test or we can't prove that subjective experience is objective, but subjective experience is most definitely a proven thing. And I think that's where people get mixed up with even the subjective thing in of itself, right? People fail to realize that when dealing with subjectivity, is not the subjectivity in of itself that's being questioned, right? It's the perception of the objective that's being questioned, right? So it's your lens that you put on the world to make you see what you see. And so that's why the subjective can't be proven, because two people, even while experiencing the same thing, can have two different experiences. And so while we can't say they didn't experience that, we know for a fact that their experiences was quote unquote real, in the sense that it had an effect on them. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we will break that down. There are plenty of things in this realm of reality that don't function off logic and coherence. It's simply referred to as pseudo or paranormal. Um, I would like you to give me a I would like you to name a couple of those things for me. And I want to touch on this really fast. Um, when in science, when science says something, like for an example, right? Proxima Centauri, right? Oftentimes when you study this system, it'll say that it's beyond our understanding. Like it goes beyond our logic of how we know solar systems to function. That's not saying that that solar system is operating outside or different or breaking any laws of physics. That's not what that's saying. What that is saying is that solar system is introducing a new form of or a new study. It's producing something new that we haven't seen before, that we can now study, that we haven't had or that we haven't had the chance to study yet. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I have to ask you, what are some things that function out of our range of logic that exist in this realm? Transcendental meditation. Hey, listen, I love me some meditation, man. I love me some meditation. Transcendental meditation, right? A lot of people like to put that in the spooky category, simply because I just don't think people know what that means, right? When people hear the word transcendental, right, they often think of going outside of themselves. Transcendental is dealing with your awareness. So you're not expanding some supernatural force outside of yourself, but you're expanding your sensory depth perception, right? So transcendental meditation is like oftentimes we see it dealing with swordsmen, right? They can sense the space around them within their striking range. And so when you meditate and you're operating transcendental meditation, you're learning to sense the spatial aware, you're learning to sense the space that surrounds you without physically using your your basic senses, right? So instead of you using your eyes, which is one of our main senses that we see to measure space, when we close our eyes and we feel a sense of the space that we're in, right? Oftentimes what I do, definitely when it's raining or something like that, is when I meditate, I'll open windows, right? Sit quietly, and I'll just listen to the rain, right? And inherently, my subjective experience, right, is feeling the rain. Now, am I really feeling the rain? Absolutely not. But I've expanded my awareness far enough, right, to now be in such proximity to the rain that I can now feel it on my skin, right? It's just like your nose, right? Y'all ever smelt something that was so seasoned that you can almost taste it? And so that's called transcendental sensory. That's when you're sensing things that otherwise you wouldn't be able to sense. You see what I'm saying? And so those is just some things diving into transcendental meditation and just despookifying in transcendental meditation. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, hey man, Even I touch into this really fast. Astral projection, right? People believe astral projection is their spirit leaving their body. Your spirit don't go anywhere. It's your consciousness that is veering off. Your consciousness is traveling, not your spirit. You see what I'm saying? So, and when I say consciousness, I just mean your awareness, right? Um, and so when we astral project, the essence of what we call being, right? Spirit, the soul, that doesn't really go anywhere. It's just our awareness that taps into other or awareness, the mind. People like to conflate the awareness and consciousness and mind and all of that, right? So it's the mind or the consciousness that is exploring other dimensions of reality. Heavenly realms are always the purpose of meditation. Hey, yo. Hey, listen. Well, when you get to heaven, um, tell Jesus and them they need to come back because their followers ain't doing them no justice. If you ever been to heaven, man, you need to tell them prophets and them up there that it's looking bad down here for them religious folks, man. It's looking bad down here for them. So I don't know, Maxima, but if you ever been there, man, go back up there and tell them, hey, they need to come on. They need to come on back down here. I would agree. I agree with this. Language, and I don't even just want to say language because I don't want to put it in a general framework. I want to say the English language, right, is very limiting when we're trying to understand reality. And the reason I know this is because, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know this as well, if y'all do y'all studies. When you go into other languages like Sanskrit, um, even Hebrew, right? They have words that you can't pronounce in English. They have words that in English we don't even have a definition for. So we couldn't even say it if we wanted to say it because we don't have a definition for the word. Right? And oftentimes this do injustice to study when you're studying ancient cultures and other cultures and things of that nature when you're doing anthropological work, because when you're transmitting information from one language to the next, then oftentimes because of your English lexicon, you get confound to certain words. So you might see a word in Sanskrit that means voidness, but because we don't even have a concept of what that is, we just add it as something like empty or intangible or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So it's the English language is most definitely limited. I would agree with you there. I appreciate you. Hey, listen, man. Oh, really fast before I forget, let me cam up, y'all. I'm over here having my my date with Mary Jane over here. That's why I was cammed down. But before I forget, family, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, please do the due diligence for me. Please do me a favor, unsubscribe and resubscribe. We recently just had a channel flagging, and so we realize our videos ain't going everywhere they need to go. So to help us out on that front, all we need y'all to do is click that subscribe button to unsubscribe and click it again to resubscribe. With that being said, family, let me get back to reading these comments. Thumb up the video, like the video. I appreciate y'all engagements in the comments. I see y'all down there. Let's get it, family. And I'm reading the comments because obviously Cosmon and them, they scared to come up here. You feel me? People scared to come up here. So we gonna do what we do. I'm gonna give y'all a good probably another hour and 30 minutes, and then we shooting it off tonight, y'all. We calling it in early tonight. Shout out to you, Max. Shout out to you. The things that science can't prove. Let me pop it up here on the screen. The things that science can prove has to be experienced, but at all points, scientists just labeled it pseudoscience, and don't venture there. Well, you know, a lot of times as well, what we deal with, definitely in science, a lot of times in science, what we deal with is a shift in frameworks, right? Definitely when we're dealing with academia science, right? We're dealing with a shift in framework. And so whatever group is dominating the framework at the time, that's the group that decides what continues to be worked on and what continues and what ceases to be worked on. And so while science, just like Quantum was talking about earlier about the Oaspe and the moon and then the 2019, thing, it's important to understand that within the field of science, there's a lot of projects that just stopped, right? Either due to funding, either due to just they lost interest. Once again, like I said before, the framework, the hierarchy framework, right? The authority in the field has shifted, right? And oftentimes what this do is it actually puts us behind on a lot of science that if we would have just kept working with it, we'd have been caught up, right? And so the reason I brought up the 2019 thing that Quantum and Cosmon brought up is that's the result. That's an example. That's a perfect example, right? In the 1860s, 1870s, 1880s, right? They was looking at the stars, looking at this, looking at that. And then at the precipice, something happened. And then it shifted the view from exploring the stars to warfare or to national security or to these other things, taking over other nations or, accumulating resources. You know what I'm saying? And so back in those days when they took it away, by the time we got back, we was already so far ahead in other things. We just needed to catch up in science. So the 2019 article that Cosmon brought up, right? It was just simply saying that the astrophysicists dug back in the archives, did some studying, and found out or re-established something that they stopped working on back in the day. That's all. They didn't find nothing new. They didn't discover anything new. They didn't discover some thing out there. The moon was further, the moon was closer. They didn't discover something. They didn't discover anything that they already didn't know. That's not what the article was about. The article was simply about them now understanding, adding on to their knowledge that the chronosphere, right, go farther than they expected. That's all. And so I think that helped with what you were just talking about, Max, is right, that the things that science can't prove, right, must be experienced. And so there was a lot of things in the past that science was working on, but because of the shift, they stopped, and unfortunately, where they left off in certain places was just a pseudo It was just pseudo at that time point. You see what I'm saying? And what we see now is a lot of people are trying to re-pick that up without understanding that the science is pseudo. I'll give an example, right? Cosmon was talking about Cartesian physics. He didn't know it. He probably didn't know it. He probably knew it. He probably didn't know it. I don't know. If he knew it, he's being disingenuous. If he didn't know it, he know it now. But he's spewing out Cartesian physics. Science haven't validated Cartesian, and it's just like, yo, don't you know that that's considered pseudoscience now? Now, dealing with Cartesian physics only because it's already been disproven, right? There's people like the Cosmos of the world who come back and try to bring that back into the community. And because that information is so removed from our time frame, people will accept it because they don't even know that that was a thing in the first place. They think it's something new. Y'all know how my aunt, right? I got an aunt, right? And every time a new trend come out, the first thing she always say is, "Y'all think that's something new? We was doing that in the 80s. We was doing that in the 70s." And so that's the same thing as this science field, right? Oftentimes people bring something and they think is new, but when they really start studying it, they'll realize that, oh, this was something older. It just wasn't continued, you know. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. An example would be anything on a quantum level. The quantum level does not operate beyond the laws of logic. They operate beyond our understanding of the quantum realm. The 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 quantum level isn't anything spooky or mystical or supernatural, right? It's still in the thing we would call physical reality. Because it's so small, right? It just operate with different physics principles. That's all. That doesn't break our frame or reference of logic. It just help add to our frame and reference of logic. The double slit. When people actually understand what the double slit experiment is, it makes so much sense, bro. Okay, so things are aware and things operate differently depending on their condition within time and space, right? So when the particles are being looked at, the wave collapse into physical matter. When a particle is not being looked at, they continue as waves. Or observed. Let me use the word observed. Because I think Roy Chess is in the comments. I don't want him to, I don't feel like getting into a back and forth with Roy Chess. But when the wave is observed, it turns into physical matter. When it's not observed, it continues to be a wave. Right? Now, what's the proponent for the shift? Energy itself is not only aware, but energy itself modulizes itself to be able to contain the frame of reference of time and space, whatever that condition may be. Based off of that condition, energy, the particle, the neutron, whatever we want to call the thing, the particle, they normally call it a particle, but that thing operates differently based off of the condition of the environment that is put in. That's logical. Ain't nothing illogical about that. What people like to say that the hard problem of the double slit experiment is, why does it change? And is there a way to keep the particle a particle even when we're not looking at it? The answer to that question is, it depends on the condition. The issue with the scientists today that they're having is they haven't found a stable enough pattern, so to speak, to be able to make this shift, this particle, stay a particle even when it's not being observed. And that's that. I ain't even gonna put no more sauce onto it, but that's that, right? The reason the shift happened is because the condition also changed, right? And so that's logical. Out of body experience. Out of body experiences are, again, the awareness transcending the limitation of what we will call the self, right? The body, so to speak, right? And it's not it's not a spooky thing, because the consciousness is literally not going anywhere. That's the imagination that's kicking in. But the the experience, because I really don't even want to say any sensation, because you don't even get a sensation with out of body experiences. You just gain the experience. You see what I'm saying? But the experience come from a controlled state of being and a wandering awareness. That's where that comes from. Now, once again, your awareness literally is not moving places, right? But your awareness is expanding. Don't look at it as moving around, but an expansion. So out of body experiences is just that, right? It's an expansion of the awareness. Yes, transcendental meditation is spoken of in the Bhagavad Gita. And that's because in the Indian tradition, yoga is used as a science of the body, right? And so a lot of people use yoga, once again, they use yoga to get to higher realms and stuff like that. Yoga is a tool used, how meditation is a tool used for self-control. Yoga is a tool used for body control, for ligament control. You see what I'm saying? It's to understand the physical vessel that you operate in. That's what yoga is for. Once again, it's not to reach higher dimensions into the heavens or none of that nature. but it's simply for you to get familiar with really understanding the physical vessel that you're in. Yeah, Krishna do. Krishna explains what it is. Or whoever wrote. Yeah, Krishna is not, they don't think Krishna was a real person. Krishna is not a real person. We ain't even gonna do that. We ain't gonna play. Krishna is not a real person, y'all. Krishna is not a real person. I know we dealing with atheists. And that's so funny, bro, because I I don't really like to use, I don't really like to identify with the word atheist. And the only reason I don't like to identify with the word atheist, or even the reason I don't like to identify with the word atheist, is because I understand that there are, I'm trying to find a good way to put it. um there are things that we believe, right, that are non-religious, that because they're subjective to us, we can't do anything but believe it, right? So I'll give you an example. I believe in love. I know love is a thing that exists subjectively. It's not a thing that exists objectively. It's a thing that exists subjectively. And because it's a subjective, I have to believe in that. And so because I carry beliefs, I tend not to identify with atheism. Atheists be crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Atheists be crazy. And exactly what are you explaining? It's a, and exactly what you just explained is an example of something outside of logic and coherence that we experience in reality subjectively. If it's subjective, we all don't experience it. If it's subjective, it's personal to us. Um and the expansion of one's awareness, that's a very logical thing, right? Oftentimes people fail to realize we lost a lot of our senses being civilized, right? Like, think about, if you can compare a civilized person, if I could speak in the form of man of a word, right? A person who live in a city, who live, in the industrial age and things of that nature, and you compare a tribal person, one who live on a land, live in the woods, get his food from the earth, and things of that nature. The tribal person senses would be 10 times better than the industrial person, because the tribal person is always in nature. So the tribal person is always using their senses. The industrial person, right, is in a environment where you're where you're getting smacked with a bunch of 100 million senses at once, all day, every day. And the uh, the civil person is only trained to pay attention to that which will keep him alive. Right? He's not trained to pay attention to try to spot something that's meant to blend in to the forest, right? Like the tribal person would be. The tribal person, when they're walking through the woods and the forest, their senses are heightened. So now they can smell something, whereas we might be able to smell something for probably a couple yards away. They could smell something from miles away. But that's because they heighten their senses. So heightening your senses is most definitely a logical thing. It's most definitely an objective thing. And it's a proven thing that we can do that. I mean, each of us hold our breath underwater at different times, right? We all got different lung capacities. That doesn't mean that we all can enhance our lung capacity. Granted, we're all healthy. Atheists are God's favorite people. Hey, yo, shout out to the atheists in the building. Shout out to the atheists. Which God? Facts. Which God? Which God? I appreciate you, Michigan. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your support. Yo, hold on now. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go back. Yo, I'm way behind these goddamn comments. First off, let me start down here. Hey, yo. Facts, I was ready to people up. Hey, yo, listen, we all was A1. At a certain point of time, bro, we all was. What? Hey, yo, what homo I talking about, bro? I don't know what he talking about. Ha. That's funny. I know. I'm just going through the comments, man. That's how I'm interacting with y'all today. It's going on 2 hours and 42 minutes. I'm at least let it reach 3 hours before I get to give them my closing exits and things of that nature. Hey, yo. I think we all was, bro. Christianity, man, that was something crazy. Something crazy. When you look at this, when you just, man, when you just listen to some of the stuff that these religious texts just be saying, bro, it just don't be, it's just crazy, my guy. It's crazy. For an example, we were just talking about the Oaspe Bible, man. And yo, you mean to tell me that there's a creator that's talking to man, but man couldn't understand? The creator wasn't powerful enough to just make the man understand. He had to call his angels to teach the men how to understand. That's crazy, man. I don't get it. This is an interesting comment right here. I think meaning is the purpose of life. Giving meaning to what has always been and will be. The only thing that can change is meaning subjectively. I think the meaning of life is what you make it. I don't think there is no true meaning of life. I say that because life have one job to expand, to grow, to live, to survive, right? To thrive. That's the one job life got. And so I feel like because we are thinking, we are thinking creatures, right? Who like to attach meaning to things because without meaning, things become meaningless. We feel an obligation to attach a meaning to life or a purpose to life. When in reality, you will never see that. You will never see that, right? And people like to use, and I've heard this over the years as well. People like to say that we can see the meaning in life because of the harmony in life. Harmony and meaning are, or purpose, so to speak, are two different things. Nature can harmonize with one another and not have a meaning. Right. And so that's why I say I don't think life have a meaning except for the one that we give it. There we go. There we go. Bam. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To thrive, to expand, to grow is literally the purpose of life. This is a fallacy. The reason I say this is a fallacy is because your awareness does not expand outside of your mind. That's not a thing. Let me calm down real quick. Calm down real quick. Most definitely, you can do that. Hey, listen, and you know what I do just for you, right? Next Tuesday, I'll come on here just for you, and I'll do a presentation of the double slit experiment. Look, I'm scrolling up now, and y'all add more comments. Ain't that a fact, A1? Ain't that a fact? Mm-mm. You gotta know who them angels were in the Oaspe, but that's another. So let me share my screen because I don't think you was here with my presentation. I mean, if you was, then you know. But I'm gonna show you that I know who those angels was that we was talking about. Y'all see down here what it say? Oaspe by John Bellew Newborough. This is the Oaspe Bible. So I'm gonna show you who those angels were. Okay. Let's get right here. Hold on. We gonna get to it. Where the angel at? Angel, all right, bang. Hold on. Angel, a spirit, man, or woman. The word spirit does not define whether man or animal, but is often erroneously used instead of angel. That's who the angels were. Let's see who the archangels are. Angels next in rank to gods, who dwell in a certain arcs in the Eretha, in a Etheria. They generally come in the dawn of a new cycle to give new inspiration to mortals. This who those angels was, bro. Apollo, the god to whom was assigned the duty of beautifying mortals in form and figure. See the index, he had many names as Seguya, Sogwa, Choo Choo. Your name was Choo Choo? Sudanai. And so on. But the meaning is the same, whether in Chinese, Hindu with two O's is crazy, Greek, Latin, or English. Hey man, this book is wild, bro. Come on, let's see some more of these angels. Where they at? The Corporean, a man of the earth, in contradiction from an angel, who is a man of ears. They got the word crucifying here. That's crazy. They got Satan, the chief of seven tracks, the captain of the selfish passion, selfishness, per se self. Nirvanian. Joe, this is crazy. Orion, ruler of the earth of the Etherian worlds. Isaiah, a Chinese prophet, bro. Hey, nah, man. Hey, Christians, y'all gotta do something about this. Yo, he a Chinese prophet, they tripping. There go that vortex, y'all, that vortices of the North Star. Erroneous called Zoroaster, a Persian lawgiver who lived in the cycle of Agapi, 8,900 years ago, the furthest back of all historical characters, both Buddhist and Christian religions are said to be made up chiefly from the history and miracles of Zoroaster. It was to obliterate such history that, yo, this is crazy. Cotulus, a Christian priest, burnt the Alexandrian library in the year 390, and for the same purpose and more effectively did three Christian monks again burn it in the year 6040. That's crazy. Let me see. Jashu, like Caillou and Sakaya, was a lawgiver of subcycle rank. He was of Jewish birth and also in Aisu. Hey yo, y'all gotta chill. They got my man in here under his Greek name. This is crazy. Born near Jerusalem, something less than 2,000 years ago, his predecessors were of the tribe called Essenians, or non-resistance. He labored to bring the Jews back to their what? To their pristine purity. He was a severe preacher denounced by the people as a blasphemer and was stoned to death in Jerusalem. He also taught the doctrine of one great spirit. That's crazy. In the Christian New Testament, it has been supposed that uh uh what is about to say? It's about to say something crazy, bro. I know it. The so-called Sermon on the Mount is a plagiarism. Ayo. Hey, nah, Christians. Y'all really get early I was playing. But yo, for all the Christians who hear my voice right now, y'all gotta do something about this. They said y'all plagiarized on on Joshua's teaching, gotten up by a Council Council under the directions of the Emperor Constantine. Yo, this is crazy, bro. The Sermon on the Mount was a plagiarism. Mm, 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 mm. Hey, yo, that's a fact. That's a fact. Huh? Humble. Where is judgment? Where is punishment through you? I don't know what you talking about. Hey, my man Michigan, that's fire right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know how you can say something and it'd be so simple, but it'd be the simplest things that can hit. I'm gonna drop the link again. I got you. But it'd be the simplest things that hit the most. I dropped the link in the comments, y'all. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Explain abracadabra. The Oaspe Bible say that abracadabra is a I don't know, Omar man. A1, you want me to let him up? If A1 say you can come up, Omar, I'll let you up, bro. But according to Oaspe, abracadabra is a prayer. Yeah, what's McCollum still here? What's going on here? A1, are you still in the comments? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. So he said don't let you back up, Brody. He said don't let you back up. I would, but hey. Can't be playing in people's faces like that, Omar, bro. Can't be playing in people's faces like that, bro. Hey, yo, these people are funny. It's knowledge, it ain't exclusive. Ooh, I'm about to drive a commercial, y'all.
Are you tired of the same old echo chambers? Ready to stretch your mind to places it's never been before? Welcome to the ultimate intellectual battleground on the Coliseum of Arguments Network. It's time to step inside the cave of knowledge. Welcoming your host, Humble Mystic, every Tuesday. We're bridging the gap between the ancient world and the modern landscape. From the deep esoteric wisdom of ancient Kemet to a grounded naturalist view of our world today, no topic is off limits. We're dissecting philosophy, breaking down ancient civilizations, and clashing over modern day politics every Tuesday. This isn't just a lecture, it's a debate. A powerhouse arena where your voice matters. A premier space to step up, voice your opinions, and challenge your perspective with the sharpest minds around. If you love real, raw, intellectual fire, this is the show for you. Elevate your mind, bring your arguments. Subscribe to the Cave of Knowledge with Humble Mystic today. New episodes drop every Tuesday on Coliseum of Arguments. Step into the cave if you think you can handle the truth. Titans Debate League. Only the brave speak here.
Oh, what the heck? Oh, okay, so he's right there. All right, family. I appreciate everybody chilling with me tonight. I'm about to hop off, lay it down with my wife. She got to get up for work early in the morning. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be here tomorrow. Oh, hold on, I'll let you up, and then we're gonna hop out of here. What up? What up, Max?
Yo, what up, Humble? I just wanted to say what's up to you, Mystic, say what's up to everybody in the chat and everything. Big up to everybody in the Coliseum, A1, Oli. I you read a comment of mine earlier and you kind of misinterpreted what it was because I was saying that purpose, the purpose of life is to the purpose of life is to give it meaning because that's all that we do. And like everything that we experience existed before we were here to experience it. And without anybody here to experience all things, it's just here. There's no meaning, there's no purpose. But once
Exactly.
life exists, the only purpose of our existence will be to give meaning to our existence and everything that exists within our experience. And that's all we do. We
Yeah.
create symbols for things that makes it mean something to us. I think
So we
I
can
just wanted to
understand
clarify
it.
that that's the
No, that's fire. That's fire. And I would agree with that because that's how we understand the world, right? We understand the
that's
world by symbols and insignias. You see what I'm saying? So
right,
every time we introduce something that we introduce, it's because we're trying to understand the world around us. You know, we call it the world, but in a deeper level, we're trying to understand life. You see what I'm
right,
saying? And so this is why, like, even the main reason I'm even a naturalist is because I said this in one of my other presentations, is because when I look back at my ancestors, right, all of their original traditions was steeped and based in naturalism. All of them were people of the land. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
why would I continue to try to find some Eurocentric religion to follow? Mind you, ain't nobody in a religion that look like me. Instead of I can go to people who look like me and find truth there. It's all the same truth, so to speak. So what's the
Yeah.
issue for me getting it from the white people and then for me getting it with my own people?
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I feel like when it comes to knowledge, you should have a sharp enough mind to discern between what's true and what's false.
Right.
And when you have to take leaps of faith or whatever, like that's going to be based on your belief. But there's tangible, evidence for things that you can put together and say this is why this is true and this is why this is false or whatnot. But subjectively,
All
like
right,
it's
all right.
everybody's own experience is going to determine what things mean to them. So like, think what's hot to me could be lukewarm or cold to you. I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that, to be honest. I was trying to catch up to it, but I had to where I was going. I forgot.
But
But
no, the last
it's
thing you said was facts. Subjective experiences, like you was just saying, what could be hot to you could be cold or lukewarm to me, right? This is
yeah,
our experiences. We can experience. I used that example earlier. We can be literally experiencing the same thing objectively, right? But
right.
our interpretation of that experience is completely different. And
Yeah.
so now
Huh.
we can't prove that our different experiences didn't happen. But what we can prove is that the objective experience had a different effect on me and you. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I was going into earlier when I was saying that the subjectivity in of itself, nobody talks about when we're generally talking about something being subjective. We're not generally talking about the subjectivity within itself. We're normally talking about the subjectivity that we put on an objective thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where's my oh, I didn't know I had that. But yeah, family, we about to close it down. Hey Max, did you see my presentation?
I did see your presentation.
Oh,
And well, I seen maybe, I don't know. I seen about 20 to 30 minutes of it. I don't know how long it was.
mm-hmm. What you think
But
about it? What you think about what you caught?
the tail end before you open the panel, a lot of the stuff you like, my thing is, oh, and this is where I was going with this. Is I remember where, I'm glad you brought it to that, because this is where I was going with it. You was bringing up the Oaspe and the things that it said in the Oaspe. And a lot of people come up here and they defend their different books of knowledge and everything. But my thing is this: I feel like when it comes to knowledge, I don't. You use your discernment to decide what makes sense or what doesn't make sense, and you should be able to say, damn, why do I keep losing it? You should be able to say things like this. I listen to the Oaspe and I hear the stuff in it and I say that's true. That part of the Oaspe is true. Everything else that it says, I don't know. I listen to bit by bit and say this is true, this is false, this is a stretch, and all of that. But the things that resonate as absolutely true, it doesn't matter to me whether it comes from the Oaspe, whether it comes from some Egyptian manuscript or hieroglyph or whatever. It doesn't matter, because if I were to come up to you and tell you that 2 + 2 = 4, that knowledge doesn't belong to me. That's not Max's knowledge of mathematics. It's just math, and I transferred that knowledge to you. You don't have to worship me as the person and follow me as the person who brought you that knowledge. You
Exactly.
just know that 2 + 2 does equal 4. Now you take that and you add that to what you know about science and geography and all these other type of things, and you create your own understanding of the world. Like, subscribing to religion, to me, is the downfall of man.
Facts.
But knowledge, though, it like religious leaders act as the gatekeepers of knowledge, and it's the knowledge that people want to get to and should get to, but religion perverts it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's why even so a lot of people don't know that me and Cosmo got a debate coming up in our tournament. And so one our topic is which worldview is more religious, right? Oaspe or natural? Well, faithism or naturalism. And It all started because he said that my worldview was religious. And I was like, what? Yeah, man, naturalism is a subjective belief. Like, okay, can you prove this? And he went in and he didn't butchered everything. He got everything wrong. And then I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to come back and do a presentation on why you don't know what you're talking about on these subjects. Then today I had to come back and I was like, you know what? Because Cosmon on that, I noticed something about sneaky spiritual people, right? People
Okay.
who want to disassociate themselves from religion, but they want to be connected just by a strand. And what they do is they go out here and they grab these books and they learn these things. And when they come around panels like this, they hide their hand. You see what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, like, for an example, when Cosmo come around, he'll talk your head off about science. He'll talk your head off about politics. He'll never talk your head off about faithism. He'll never dive into that Oaspe Bible and tell you what it means and tell you what it say. And the
That's
reason
his belief
is
system.
because he know that it's a belief system. And the
That's
moment
his.
he do that, he's going to
Because I'm not
expose
familiar with
himself.
that. That's
What?
what he believes.
Yeah.
He believes in Oaspe and faithism. You said.
Yes. So faithism is the worldview of Oaspe.
Okay.
Faithism is, matter of fact. Let me show you it real fast. Let me show you it real fast. Hold on. I got you. So, and
No.
this is something else I had to expose about the brother Cosmo. He don't like he's way out of his league in these things. Definitely when dealing with me. You see what I'm saying? Because you gotta know what you are. So faithism is the worldview, right? Is the
Yeah.
worldview that believe in Jehovah as the formless, all-encompassing, and only true creator of the universe. This is what faithism is, right? A sacred covenant. They adhere to a formal personal covenant directly with Jehovah, committing themselves to a life of truth and service, right? It says the reunification of idols. It say the core of the covenant is a solemn oath to explicitly ignore and reject all other heavenly rulers, including those worshipped as God, Lord, or Savior. So this is faithism. Now,
Now, question.
Oaspe is the method. The Oaspe Bible is the method that the faith is used. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. You
Next
said you had a
question.
question.
Yeah. Yeah. What? So, because it says Jehovah exclusively. So, would Buddhists and Hindus not fall under faithism?
No, because they don't worship Jehovah exclusively.
So that says exclusive worshiping Jehovah thing,
Yes.
faithism.
Yes.
Okay.
Ignore and reject all other heavenly rulers, including those worshipped as God, Lord, and Savior.
And
Yep.
that's the God of the
Actually,
Owaski, Jehovah.
yep. Actually, hold on one second. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show it. Let me share this instead. Watch this. Can you see this?
Very
Watch.
small. It's very small.
I
I
got you.
can't
I'm
read
gonna
what
blow
it
it up.
says.
I'll blow it up for
Just
you.
I think if you full screen it, it'll be
All right.
sufficient enough.
All right.
Maybe
So
not. I think that made it smaller. Dang.
don't worry. I'm gonna zoom in for you. I'm gonna zoom in for you. All right. So it's back here. Watch this. I want to show you something real quick. Oh, here it is right here. Look, I keep flipping past it. All right. So watch this. All right. Oh, hold on. This ain't it. This is the false gods that what's going on. Man said I'm the spirit. No. Let me see. Fur move book. No. I'm trying to find where it talk about the four-headed beast.
That
And
part
it
I
tell
did
you,
see. You said it said Brahma,
yeah,
Christian. What else was it? Muhammad, and there was one more.
Muhammadism. Yep.
Yeah,
Is this
I
it
saw that
right
part
here?
because what I did see, what I
Go
do
ahead, go ahead,
remember
bro.
seeing, what I do remember seeing from what you were showing was how you explained what it takes, what makes something a religion, like what justifies it being a religion. And so you
Right.
went down a list at why that the Oaspe checked off every box or whatever. But
Oh yeah.
then I didn't hear if you had a section where you explain how what it naturalism is your belief system, how that doesn't check every box when it comes to religion. I could understand how it doesn't check any boxes when it comes to faithism because the
Right.
Jehovah effect. But when it comes to religion, how does it
Right.
not check those boxes?
Okay. So I got you here. So I gotta go back. So I'm gonna go back real fast because I'm gonna go back to one of my other presentations.
You
So
know what?
then
Do you actually? Because you did say that y'all got a thing coming up. Do you want to just save it for the? I don't want to. I don't want you to show your
no,
whole
no,
hand.
no, no, bro. You
Now that I think
okay.
about it.
This is an old presentation, bro. This is a presentation I did already. So
All right.
all right, here it is, right here. Bang. All right. So he says naturalism. This is Cosmon's video. Hold on, let me blow it up for you. I'm only go over it quick. It ain't gonna take too long. Dang, my computer be acting slow sometimes. Yo, this shit pissing me off. All right. Why you moving so slow?
It's all good, man. We don't mind the lag. You're a very good orator of knowledge. So
I appreciate
I
it.
know it's not easy hosting the show, and you do it. You make it seem like it
Right.
is. So
All
you
right.
got
So
patience.
here it is, right here. Here it is, right here. Okay. So he was saying that naturalism is a subjective belief. You see what I'm saying? So then I had to come, and so this is what philosophical naturalism is, the standard definition. A philosophical worldview asserting that all phenomena can be explained by natural causes and law without attributing agency to any supernatural forces. This is the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Now, what is my methodology? Methodological naturalism. What is methodological naturalism? It's the principle that science and academic investigation must restrict itself to observable, testable, and natural mechanisms without asserting the existence or intervention of a supernatural entity.
Sounds
That
religious to
right
me.
that right there show you that it ain't religious. You see what I'm saying? Because you dealing with science, you dealing with academia, you feel me? You dealing with observable, testable, and natural mechanisms. You see what I'm saying? And the one
But
thing
that's
that
the
really
belief
make it
system.
non-religious, and the one thing that make it non-religious is you're not dealing with anything supernatural. So
That's
now,
I don't
go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead because I don't. I want to push back on that, but when you're finished. I
No,
want
go
to
ahead,
push
bro.
back on you saying
No.
that's not a religion because that's a if you can't just say just because it's not dealing with supernatural things that it's not religious because you could be religious about a whole world of things that's not
Mhm.
supernatural, but the whole thing is this is the belief system and we don't anything outside of this belief system we don't mess with it, and that's what it sounds like you just read, but just pertaining to science.
And no, and
Like
so
this is the
that's
belief
where
system. We don't believe anything outside of this system. We don't deal with it. We don't acknowledge it. That to me sounds religious.
right. And so this is where I'm gonna do this really fast, and then I'm gonna show this.
All right.
So this is where I have to break down the difference, and I do that in here too. Hold on, let me get. I do that in my presentation too. All right, bang. Here we go, right here. Okay. So what's the difference between a belief system and methodological naturalism? Right. Number one, a belief system deals with personal convictions, intuition, and unverified faith, right? Methodological naturalism, which deals with reality, deals with empirical observation, testability, and peer review. You see what I'm saying? So the scope claims ultimate metaphysical truths. Stop strictly at the edge of what can be measured. You see what I'm saying? So we ain't dealing with dogmatic belief. This is another thing that Cosmo kept doing in his video. He kept using scientific language wrong, right? Or let me say it this way. He kept showing his level of knowledge when pertaining to scientific language, when he kept using the word assumption and mixing it with the word belief. So in science, as we know, the ones who actually dive into the realm of science, when hypothesis, when assumptions, when what's another one, theories, right? When these things are being made, they're not being based off of dogmatic beliefs. They are being made off of an accumulation of information that allow them to make the statements they make. You see what I'm saying? So this goes back to what you were saying, right? When you was like, well, that sounds like a belief system. Well, it can't be a belief system if you're not believing in anything that you can't prove. You see what I'm saying? Sure. Do they start off as if we want to call them thoughts or ideas? Yeah. But to say that they're beliefs, that's a stretch. Now I want to bring this up really fast, and then I'm gonna let you get it in. Right? Hold on. All right. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Watch this. Naturalism is best understood as a philosophical framework or worldview rather than a traditional religion or organized belief system. Unlike covenantal belief systems that often include dogmas, sacred texts, divine figures, or ritual, naturalism is a method of understanding reality based on reason, observation, and scientific inquiry. Watch this. I got something else to show you. I did this earlier. Or watch this. Watch this. I hate when my laptop be acting all slow and shit. It's just And then as soon as I stop it, they're gonna say you stop response. Watch. All right, now let's do this. Oh, okay. Can you see this?
Yeah, I see
Did
it.
it pop? All right. So
Yeah.
now I asked the same question I asked for naturalism, right? Is naturalism a belief system? No. Is faithism a belief system? Yes. Faithism is a belief system, specifically a small spiritualistic religion that emerged in the late 19th century. It is centered around a massive 1882 book titled, what's that title right there called, brother? Oaspe.
I see it. Yeah, Oaspe. I'm on mute, so it'll be a delay if
No,
you
you
ask me
good, bro. You
something.
good, bro. So I just wanted to show you why I'm saying what I'm saying. I ain't just speculating what I'm saying. You feel me? I'm saying what I'm saying because that's what it is, right? Why do I call faithism a belief system? Because faithism is a belief system. Why do I say naturalism is not a belief system? Because it's not a belief system.
Now look, humble. I really want to push back on that, but I
Mhm.
equally don't want to give your opponent anything to go off of for his. I want him to come with his own thing, but I'll just say this as far as the belief system, and this is still kind of giving them something, but the concept of we only we only acknowledge what's measurable by our scientific devices is a belief system. And so like just but look, because y'all think it's about religion, to take it away from religion and make it more about science. When it comes to um when it comes to quantum physics, classical physicists don't acknowledge any of the findings in quantum physics because on a quantum level, molecules don't act according to the laws of physics. The laws of physics break down on a quantum level, and they have all type of things that can't be explained by science. And so it would take another method of understanding in order to figure out the actual mechanics of the universe, because the quantum level is the seed of the universe, is where everything starts and flourishes from. So whatever is going on a quantum level, that's what's taking place on the level that we see, but we just get the expressions of what's happening on a quantum level. But so to say we don't acknowledge that means you're staying in that belief system of, oh, if we can't measure it, if it's not quantifiable scientifically, then we don't deal with it. So like that's my only thing, as far as I think both of y'all are coming from a we this is my like this belief system is a religion. And somebody put in the comments that I'm using religiously in a different way, which perhaps is true, because like I am using it in a sense that you could say somebody is religious about basketball, but then there's people who start religious cults about like Star Wars and stuff like that, and religious cults about all type of stuff. So like to me, religion is, this is our belief system and we don't stray from it, and we don't deal with people who stray from it, that type of thing. And to me, that's how scientists operate.
I think the difference in what you're leaving out when it's dealing with religion, and yes, you can use religion almost in a sense of fanatic. You know, okay. However, one main thing, like I'll do this again, right? Oh, you said, but I'll pull it back up, right?
Uh-huh.
One main thing, when we deal with religion in the manner that we dealing with religion, right? We have to understand that we're talking about organized religion. So we're talking about you know what I'm talking about, Christianity, Islam. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So in that sense, matter of fact, I'm just exactly on share screen. But in that sense, um, just keeping them just head in head, I would say the reason that naturalism even still would not be religious is because we're not dealing with anything that is supernatural. And this ramification, when we're talking about religion, we're talking about things that's dealing with God, spirit, heaven, prayer, things of that nature. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Angels, things of that nature.
Right. Yeah, I'm following you on that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, because like with with science, who do you want to bring the comments up on the thing?
Yeah,
Melanie, I think, is real small. I'm on my phone, so it's real. Melanie, God
yeah, I
is
got
having structure, but having
you.
structure is not a belief. I didn't even read the next one yet.
Yeah.
Is not a belief system. But my thing is, it is, because in science, that's what you deal with is structure. But like I said, when you look at things like the double slit experiment, right?
Mhm.
It gave rise to what we now understand, or what we now understand to be the observer effect,
Mhm.
meaning just the simple act of observing atoms on a molecular level causes the atoms to act according to our, we don't know what you could say, according to our consciousness, according to our understanding of the world, or according to whatever. But we just know that when we don't observe atoms, they act a particular way that physics can explain. And then when we observe these atoms, in order to try to explain how they're acting that way, they act in accordance to how we would expect them to act. Science can't explain how that's taking place. But when you look at all of these, the like an atom on a molecular level, everything, an atom it has 99% free space, no space, no matter. Yeah, no matter. It's just a 1% of it. Less than 1% is the nucleus. And
Mhm.
but then when you go into the nucleus, the same thing happens. It's 99% of just no
Yeah.
space. And
Yeah.
so like what's taking place is that there's a quantum field of activity. And we
Mhm.
don't understand this quantum field of activity. And when we try to go to observe this quantum field of activity, the simple act of observing makes it act according to what we're observing. And when we observe it, we're only observing a single state of
Mhm.
the quantum activity. We're not actually observing the activity. So we can
Mhm.
never understand the quantum information that's taking place. We just see the expression of it in
Mhm.
that state. So it's like if you were trying to, if there was a coin that was spinning infinitely, the coin is spinning infinitely. So when you look at the coin, it's a quarter. You look at it, you see heads and tails at the same time. And you try to
Mhm.
understand how you could be seeing heads and tails at the same time. So you snap a photo of the coin, and that will cause the observer effect, because when you look at the photo, you'll see the coin as either heads or tails or
Mhm.
sideways or whatever. But that's just the state that you took. It's not the actual what's going on, right?
Right.
So classical physics stops at the point of we can understand what's going on. But when it gets into the state of we can't measure this, that's
Mhm.
how we live in our reality. We exist the same way. Because you take something like love, right? We know
Mhm.
love exists and that it's real, but you can't measure that on a scientific level. All you could
Mhm.
do is try to express love the best that you can, because you feel the feeling of love subjectively. But then when you try to
Mhm.
express love, your expression of love can be misinterpreted. You know, people get down on one knee to profess their love and everything, and they get rejected, and like their expression of love didn't transfer and everything like that. But there's no scientific method to study and understand love, and that's just
Mhm.
one example of one thing. But
I get you.
our existence is a multitude of these things that can't be measured by science. So the same
Mhm.
way that religious people who are religious say we believe in these spiritual things and we could care less about your science, and that's what makes
Mhm.
them religion, I say it's the flip side of the coin. When scientists say we look at what we can measure, and on the other side, that's religion, and we're not. Both
Right.
sides are saying the same thing,
What
except
I
that
what I think
the religious side admits to being religious.
right. What I think the difference come into play here is one side when they can't figure something out, they just give it to God. God did it, right? They're not even interested in figuring and trying to figure out what they don't know. They just rather God did it, right? On the scientific side, you have people who don't know, but they want to know. So instead of saying God did it, they say, well, let me figure it out. You see what I'm saying? And so now that's on that note. Now we dealing with the double slit experiment. The issue with the double slit experiment the thing about the double slit experiment that a lot of people miss is the change in condition. What's surprised or what the scientists still can't figure out is how observation changed the condition of the experiment. It ain't about, see, a lot of people look at the observer effect and be like, oh, well, you see, this means that consciousness shifts things. No. The observer effect, right, is the study of how particles operate in conditional space. And one thing scientists notice is that the particle changed from the state of being condensed into a solid matter and a waveform based on if you're observing it or not. What they realized was the state of observation changes the experiment. The hard problem is they don't know why the observation changed the condition of the experiment, right? So they understand the fact that the reason it's changing from a particle to a wave is because the conditions is changing. What they can't understand is why observation causes an effect to the condition of the experiment with it turning from a wave or a particle. You see what I'm saying? So what scientists now are trying to do is they're trying to find some structural way to keep a particle, whether they're looking at it or not. And they understand this is done through geometric conditioning. You see what I'm saying? So for an example, you know that light traveled through certain geometric patterns more efficiently than others. And so right now, what they're trying to do is find out which geometric pattern would allow a photon to move through it without collapsing into a wave while it's not being observed. But the issue even with that is if they introduce something else into the experiment, more likely it's going to change the experiment. So this is the issue that the double slit experiments or the scientists have with the double slit experiment. They're trying to figure out a way to measure this photon and keep it in the state of a photon even without observing it. How do we keep it in the state of a photon without changing the conditions so it won't collapse into a wave? That's the hard issue with the double slit experiment. Nothing woo-woo going on, nothing psychic or beyond our understanding, none of that. It's just they don't.
You just said they don't understand. So it's beyond our understanding.
No, hold on. They don't know or they haven't figured out yet what structure can lock a photon in place to keep it a photon.
Exactly.
That's the in which they don't understand. It's not they don't understand how the mind work in relation to the photon or how the photon relate. No. They just don't understand what structure locks the photon in place. Once they figure that out, right, then the double slit experiment won't be an issue anymore. People will then figure out why photons stay photons in some states and why do they collapse in waves in other states. But I think they're really close to. I think they're really close to solving that. By the way, too.
What will make you think that?
What?
Why would you think what why would you say I think they're close to solving that? What makes you think that?
No, what make me think? Well, I apologize. My dog's in the they barking in the background. I apologize. Go ahead, Brody.
No, because you was like you said I think they're close to solving that, probably figuring that out. Why what did they do to make you think that they're close to figuring out how that happens and why that happens? Was it a
Because
recent experiment?
yes. So I don't know if you watch Star Talk.
Never heard
What's
of it.
okay. So it's a is a show that have physicists on, other scientists. It's a show with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He have other scientists on, and he talked to them about their field of study. Is a black dude who worked in quantum physics, and they were just talking about this, and they were talking about the state of they just exact same thing. They was talking about the different states that a pocket of energy, right? You know, string theorists, they call them strings, a pocket of string or pocket of energy, but the different states that it can take and how to lock one pocket into a single formation or a single structure indefinitely. And so how the guy explained it is when they learn how to do that, they can take that same method and apply it to other experiments, such as the double slit experiment, and they can see if this same structure that work on the quantum level will it also work on a quantum level in this experiment as well. He lists off a couple other different experiments. The double slit stuck out to me because that's what we're talking about right now. But he listed off a couple different experiments that they were going to test this. The he geometric, is it called geometric enclosure? But yeah, they was talking about it on Star Talk. I was just watching that, but that's what make me believe or understand that we're making amazing progresses in science, and also we are close to figuring out conditional states for matter to allow it to shift from one state to another state.
Think they're close at all until they start incorporating what you consider to be spooky science, because they all of what you explained, they don't understand how this quantum state takes place. They did a second double slit experiment. I think it's called the delayed choice experiment, where since we know that when we don't monitor these photons, they act like a wave, then or electrons, they act like a wave. If the camera isn't on them, they took a camera and they didn't turn the camera on until after the particles passed through the slits. And so we know that when the camera isn't on, it functions as a wave. So the particles go through the slit, and then in the fractions of a second, they turn the camera on. When they turn the camera on, the particles act the way that they would expect them to act if they're monitoring the camera. But the particles, they went through the slit already. And so if they're not being monitored when they go through the slit, they go through as a wave. They interact with each other, neither. They do all of that, and it forms a wave pattern against the wall. And so all they wanted to do was monitor how, once it got through and as went through as a wave, what did it do? But they turned it on after it went through. It acted like a regular particle, meaning that it's, no matter how we choose to observe it, our observation is going to cause the particles to act the way that we understand particles to act. It'll only act another way if we're not observing it. So, you can draw the conclusion. This is just a conclusion I'm drawing. You draw the conclusion that all of these, they call it superposition, saying that all of these particles exist in all of these locations all at once, and none of these locations at all, and everything. And that's when it becomes quantum, because it's like that doesn't make sense in classical physics. But
Mm-hmm.
in particle physics, in quantum physics, it makes sense when you understand that the quantum field is just a field that has an infinite amount of expressions, and it's showing it's expressing these things all at once, all at the same time. And the moment that we observe these particles, they show us the expression that our consciousness connects to on the frequency that our consciousness is on, and that's what we see. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, it's not just what we see; it's all of everything else. And so now, when
Mm-hmm.
you come, when you think about how we are as humans, if you come out, because they say these quantum particles, they operate outside of time and space. That's how they're able to be everywhere all at once and not at all. So if you think about how we operate and everything, and if you take yourself outside of human experience, outside of time and space, and you just look at one moment in time of a single person, you may see that person when he's angry. But that person when he's angry, that's just one expression of that person when you decided to cause the observer effect and see the expression of that person in that moment in time, but that's not the person in his totality. That's what we're doing when we look at particles on a microscopic scale. We're just seeing a single expression in the moment of that quantum field, and we're trying to understand the entire quantum field, but we can't because we're applying classical physics to something to a level of existence that created classical physics. So, like on the level of consciousness, consciousness arose and created all of this cosmic manifestation and experience that we understand, and we understand it through consciousness. But when you take the things that was created through consciousness and try to explain how the nature of consciousness, you can't do it because nature arose from consciousness. Consciousness didn't arise from nature. If consciousness arose from nature, you will be able to apply the laws of nature to explain consciousness. But you can't. But you could use consciousness to explain the laws of nature and the laws of physics. But when you stick to just the laws of nature and just the laws of physics, and you try to understand the other half of reality, which is consciousness, you'll never understand all of reality because you're sticking to just one half of it, which is classical physics. You got to get into the shit that's considered spooky, the things we don't understand. That you have to. Once you understand it, then you see how they both go together: science and spiritualism, if you want to call it. I don't know.
No,
Consciousness, science, and consciousness is what I say.
right. And so I'm gonna read something really fast to you, Brody. If I may, I'm gonna read something.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Um so the double slit experiment, right? We was just looking it up. I was just looking it up, right? And so of course we
Uh-huh.
know this experiment is one of the most famous fundamental experiments, right? One of the misconceptions of the double slit experiment is the role of consciousness, the observer effect, the misconception. Many popular science explanations claim that human mind, consciousness, thought, or deliberate watching is required to collapse the wave function and cause the inference pattern to appear. The reality in physics, an observer does not mean a conscious human being. It simply means any physical measurement, interaction, or detection that extracts which way information from the system. Even a blind imminent detector or a stray photon from the surrounding environment that interact with the particles will cause decoherence and destroy the interference pattern. Conscious has no special physical role in quantum mechanics. Watch this. I'm gonna land my plane with this, right? The differentiation in the collapsing wave in the particle is the changing of experimental conditions. Directly determines whether you see a wave-like interference pattern or a particle-like two-line pattern. In quantum mechanics, the physical setup is what you choose to measure, dictate the outcome. Measure and dictate the outcome. Specifically, the effect changes based on a few key conditions: adding or removing which way information, Without a detector, if the experimental condition is set up so that no device interaction or environment can tell which slit the particle went through, the system remains in a superposition and an interference pattern forms. With a detector, if you change the condition by turning on a detector or introducing an interaction that extracts which way information, the system loses its coherence and the interface pattern vanishes, leaving only two bands. Controlling environmental interactions, decoherence. Isolated conditions in highly controlled laboratory settings, vacuum chambers, at near absolute zero, particles can maintain their wave-like properties over longer distances because there are minimal outside disturbances. Noise conditions. If you change the experimental conditions to allow stray heat, air molecules, or background radiation to interact with the particles, the delicate quantum state is immediately destroyed. The process is called environmental decoherence. This is why I keep telling you that is not about the conscious awareness of the particle being watched or not, right? It's the
The only thing
condition
that's
that the
changing.
particle is in. You see what I'm
That's
saying? That's
no,
why I
it's not the
said,
condition. It's not what you just read didn't say the condition that the particle is in. It's the conditions of the experiment. And the only
right.
condition that changes is whether or not you're observing the particle. That's the only condition that they change. Do they turn the camera on or do they keep it off? Because when the camera is off, it's in the same place that it's in, and it forms a wave pattern. Nothing else changes other than they turn the camera on, and then it forms two bands. The
So
only
really
condition that
fast.
changes is we're observing now. Go ahead.
Okay. So now you do know turning the camera on and turning the camera off changes the experiment drastically. That's what I was just reading. Like you was just saying, it's about the conditions that the particle is in. So even if you change, like I was just reading, right? Whether it is redshift being watched or whether it is imminent wavelength that is detecting it, it will still collapse. Why is this? It's because any device they put there is going to change the condition of how the particle operates. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they said it's not about no human consciousness or human mind, right? It's the state of condition in general, right? Whether you want to make, and so also I read something else that was important, right? So also what they're doing is they're doing isolated conditions in highly controlled laboratories, setting the vacuum chamber to absolute zero. What does this do? It allows the particle to stay a particle for longer without collapsing. Now, this is why I talked about earlier. I just came across that one, but this is why I was talking earlier about geometric locking, right? So what the scientists are figuring out is they're figuring out how to set the right conditions to keep a particle from collapsing is what they're trying to figure out. They found it with this condition with the vacuum chamber. They learned how to keep it a little longer than what the usually is without the vacuum chamber, but they want to learn how to keep it there in an indefinite place because then they'll learn how to shape or shift, or they'll learn how energy or particles, whatever you want to call them, shift from one state to another. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about the observer. Hey, Brody, nice kicking it with you, Brody. It's 11:50. Come on in. It's 11:53. I'm about to lay it down my wife. I appreciate you, Max, bro. We're gonna get
Appreciate
at
you
it
having
another
me up,
time,
man.
bro.
Appreciate you having me up. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Most
Enjoy the
definitely.
rest of your night, bro.
All right, you do the same.
You ain't hear him just say, come in.